afternoon. Now, as Kenya heads into another round of by-elections today, we are watching contests that speak not just to the local representation, but to the wider story of Kenya's democratic trajectory. How will we manage political competition? How institutions hold, and what today really signals for the regional stability in East Africa? These mini polls that are happening today, they cut across the country, from the coast to the western to the Mount Kenya region, covering 15 MCA seats, 6 National Assembly seats, and 1 senatorial race. And already we've seen a mix of calm voting and pockets of tension, shaping the day's narrative. Now, since morning, a number of incidents have been reported. In Mbeere North, for instance, former Attorney General Justice Muturi confronted and physically ejected an agent of MP Leonard Wamudende at the Siakiago Social Hall, allegedly accusing the agent of inciting voters by wearing UDA colors. In Magarini, Kilifi County, residents in the Kanagoni chased away Kilifi South MP Ken Chonga, insisting that he was not an authorized agent at that polling station. Meanwhile, in Malava, an aspirant, that is Seth Panyako, claims he was intimidated late last night at around 1 p.m. and that his vehicle was vandalized. And still in Malava, at the Mayonje Butali ward, a vehicle belonging to DAP Kenya party leader Eugene Wamalwa was set ablaze, with some witnesses describing it as an orchestrated act meant to intimidate supporters. Meanwhile, in Kasipul, media reports say the agent for ODM's Peter Kaluma was attacked by a mob at Agorosare, sustaining a head injury, in an area that has already experienced campaign period clashes and earlier fatalities. From this morning up until now, which is 2 p.m., voting has largely proceeded, but with very clear early signs. Turnout is still relatively low. Not unusual for midday, as many people are still at work, but electoral officials expect numbers to rise later this afternoon. Security teams have been reinforcing the hotspots, and as about 11:30 a.m., police in several constituencies reported the situation as contained, even with the isolated disruptions pointing towards what had happened between the early mornings from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. The turnout is low to moderate across most polling stations as of early afternoon. IEBC teams anticipate an uptick after perhaps 3 p.m. Security-wise, there have been multiple isolated incidents, including vandalism, intimidation, claims, and clashes, but the police term most areas under control. In terms of logistics, most stations opened on time. A few reported delays due to agent disputes or late arrival of the kits. And now, as a takeover from Mumbi Shege, who has been holding coverage from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., I'm joined in studio currently by a governance expert, Sophie Debire, and I'm also expected to be joined by Peter Musendi, who is also a political analyst, and Vincent Akech. So let's get into what these developments mean for the integrity and the trajectory of today's votes. Madam Sophie, thank you very much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Fatma.
Now, I think it's only fair for us to open with the statement that every guest that has come into this set is being asked. And the question that is being asked to everyone, how significant are these by-elections?
Today's marks a very important day in Kenyan history, and especially looking at the landscape and how politics have been, playing out recently, and then you do a comparison of what has been happening previously. It's indeed true that democracy has to be born afresh, and every new generation must do it through education, being its midwife. We actually seeing two things coming up clearly, which is number one, all generations involved must preserve the democracy, defend it and as well as fight for it if need be, Fatma. So with what we've been seeing since morning, commencement of opening up of the, the polls today, this is cutting across all these areas that are having, we're having by-elections. We've seen Mwananchi coming out very bold to preserve that, which is democracy, because they are fully aware and understand that without us protecting it, then we will be getting, the shorter end of the stick, which is the bare minimums that we've been crying as a nation. So I think a very significant day today.
All right. So thank you very much, Sophie, for that. And allow us to first go directly to Kasipul. And let's listen from the ground what is happening there.
No, there was no voter bribery. And there is no,
excuses.
Those are theatrics.
Yeah.
They are theatrics so that they can create commotion, so that they can discourage people from voting. So they have not witnessed any voter bribery.
What action are you going to take?
No, we are going to report, first of all, Moshimo will go receive treatment, and we'll report it to the police so that at least the perpetrators can be brought into book.
Are you satisfied by the IEBC, the way they are conducting the exercise?
The IEBC is fine.
No, for the IEBC, they are conducting the process very smoothly. Ballot boxes and the materials were distributed in time. So everything for the IEBC, they are doing a good job. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes, so I want to encourage the people of Kasipul, please come out and vote. Our opponents know they have lost. What they want to do is to suppress people and stop them from coming out to vote. Aroko came in personally at Agoro Sare Primary, and by there I went to receive him. You media were here. I thought he was Boyd Were because I'm the chief agent here for our party, the ODM party, and you can see I'm accredited by IEBC. So I was to leave, but Honorable Boyd Were told me that he's coming here in 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, I saw vehicles coming in, and for there I thought those were Honorable Boyd Were's vehicle. So the media were here. I went, we greeted one another, and he just told these people to deal with me immediately. The bad thing they have done is that on his instructions, they have taken the gun for my security, and it has been handed over to him before he left. So Aroko himself has the gun for my security. The other thing I want to say is that largely, and you've been here, the people of Kasipul are very peaceful people. These goons Aroko is working with are from Nairobi, and they're very dangerous people. And I'd alerted the CS to this. The CS spoke about it. We've even given their names. These are robbers and very dangerous people from Kibra, Madare, Ruaraka, Kayole. There are some from Kisumu. There are some from Migori. So what has shocked me is that I've been attacked as police are watching. In fact, I was standing with the police officers. So I wanted to request that if there are instructions that the police connive and be complicit in chaos for whatever reason, we want to request the IG and the minister that the police need to be much more firm. I've not reacted, okay, because the intention of these people is to suppress voter turnout. So we want to encourage them, the people not to come. If there is any blood that will be spilled today, it is only my blood. And if it can bring peace to Kasipul, let it be. We are going to move around. We are going to be with the people. Let nobody be discouraged. You see, they have attacked me, but I'm still at Agoro Sare Primary. There is nothing much they will do. And I know they are cowards. That is why they are doing so. So let us encourage people to come out and vote. And so far, so good. Don't be discouraged.
All right, thank you. That is Kasipul, and we managed to get a word from one of the MP contenders, that is Boyd Were, who is standing on an ODM banner. So now let's move and go back to Mbeere North and witness what has been happening earlier, as we have some testaments from some of the leaders in Mbeere North.
He is a party leader. We must respect the will of the people of Mbeere without any influence from outsiders or from even the IEBC or even the locals. We need the voice of the people of Mbeere to be heard without being compromised or people being intimidated. Ametoka Nyeri, the problem is we have people who are wearing party colors and they are bribing people so that they cannot so that they can divert the will of the people. People of Bere, there's the time to rescue your people.
The gentleman who was
MCA from Nyeri. Chinga MCA from Nyeri. Na anakuja kupiga mheshimiwa JB. Anawamtumia mpaka nguni. Anakuja kumchapa na mheshimiwa amekuja kuona watu wake kama wanapiga kura vizuri.
We have told him you cannot come into the polling area when we are donning party colors. Yes. If he is an authorized agent, or even indeed is whatever kind of person, even observer, he must come wearing other kind of clothes, not coming wearing donning party colors.
But
I mean you can see I'm not wearing DP colors. Yes, this is a law.
But sir, was it up to you to kick him out, or was it supposed to be
He
left to the
didn't
IEBC?
kick him out.
But
we did.
we have just told him to get out. Yes.
Did you raise the matter to IEBC?
To IEBC.
Yeah.
Yes, but the guy is there. The guy is just meek. They are doing nothing. The presiding officer is behaving like a cow.
The law is that you should not wear party colors here. So we are going to follow that up, just find out. I've just arrived in, and I was keen to find out why there was a crowd there. And Mheshimiwa has just briefed me on what's happening. So we're going to follow this up to find out.
My question is not about you in particular as a commissioner.
No.
Yeah, I know trained officers, because you cannot be in all the...
Yeah, that is correct.
But you have presiding officers.
That is correct.
Who did not take action.
Yes, and that is what I'm trying to say is I'm going to find out what exactly happened with them so that we can be able to know what to do. They have been properly trained. They're expected to do the right thing. And I've been in a number of polling stations and polling centers this morning, and we have not encountered this kind of thing. So the action that is expected to be... No. I cannot say that in advance, because we ourselves have to understand what exactly happened. I think you are trying to you are trying to preempt something.
But are you agreeing with the DP party that it was wrong for anyone?
It is not a question of no. It is not a question of DP party. It is not a question of DP party. I take it that Mheshimiwa has reported this as a Kenyan, not as DP. If it is wrong, it is wrong. If it is right, it is right. I don't think it is a DP issue.
Responsibility is a responsibility of all Kenyans. A responsibility of every Kenyan to make sure that there is peace. I am a peacemaker. I've come here to make peace. A responsibility of all Kenyans is to make sure that there is peace. It's not only police officers. Every Kenyan must participate in making sure that there is peace in this country. So Justin Muturi cannot stop a fair process of Kenyans participating in their democratic right. Yeah. And that is why I'm here. Oh, who is bribing? Who is bribing? Who is bribing here? It's Justin Muturi who tried to bribe voters.
All right, MP Leonard Wamudende there explicitly stating his discontent as to how one of his agents was, we could say, pushed by the former Attorney General Justice Muturi earlier on today, allegedly for having worn colors that represent the ODM party. Now let's move on from Bere North and cross over to Kilifi County in Magarini constituency, and we have our correspondent live on the field, Boniface Nsangi, who's ready to update us with what the turnout is right now. Earlier on we did have a bit of altercations where we had an MP who was asked to leave because he was an unregistered voter. So let's find out what's happening right now. Boniface Nsangi, if you can get me, tell us, what is the turnout? Are more people coming in now?
Naam, shukrani sana. Basi niko katika kituo cha kupiga kura cha Garashi hapa, ambapo ni Garashi Primary ama shule ya msingi ya Garashi, ambapo tayari pia vile vile zoezi la kupiga kura linaendelea, japo tu kwa mwendo wa kobe. Yani wale wapiga kura katika kituo hichi basi wamefika hapa mwendo wa mchana, na kwa sasa basi ni wachache tu ambao wanaendelea na shughuli za kupiga kura. Wapo mpiga picha wangu za kuonyesha upande wa pili kule tu ni maafisa tu ambao sasa wameweza pia pale vile vile kuweza kushika doria. Wameweza tu kuketi upande wa pili pale, wameweza kufika pale kuweza kuangalia hali inaendelea vipi. Lakini pia vile vile hapa nipo tuna baadhi ya viongozi, nipo pia na mwaniaji wa kiti hiki hapa, na pia vile vile baadhi ya mbunge kutoka eneo bunge la kule kaunti ya Kilifi amefika hapa pia kuweza kuangalia hali ya uchaguzi. Lakini kumeweza kuwa na mshike kiasi kati ya mwaniaji huyu ambaye anawania na huyu kiongozi ambaye ameweza kufika hapa. Hapo piga picha yangu anaweza kuonesha tu hawa ambao wamefika hapa. Kwa sasa wameweza kutulia, inaonekana hali imetulia, lakini kulikuwa na tumbo joto sana ambalo lilikuwa likiendelea hapa kwa sasa kutokana na hali ya kura inayoendelea kwa sasa. Nitaweza kuwahoji watu wawili, tuambie pengine hisia zao ni zipi na kipi kinachoendelea kwa sasa. Pengine mheshimiwa, wewe umeweza kufika hapa, jukumu lako katika kura hizi ni gani haswa? Na kwa nini kumeweza kuzoa tumbo joto sana?
Mimi ni msimamizi tu. Nimekuja kama super agent, ninaangalia vile wananchi wanapiga kura, especially kwa yule broad based candidate. Na mimi nasimamia ward ya Garashi kwa sababu sisi kama wabunge tumeweka in charge of different wards. Katika hii ward ya Garashi kuna wabunge watatu ambao wanazungukia vituo kuhakikisha kwa agency wetu na pia utendaji kazi wa maafisa wa IBC na kila mtu mhusika anafanya kazi vile inavyostahili. Kwa hivyo niko hapa mimi kama Tungule, tuko na Mama Gertrude Mbeyu hapa na women rep wa Kwale Fatuma Masitu. Mimi tumegawanya into 4 clusters na kila cluster ina mbunge mmoja. Kwa hivyo hatuko hapa kuinterfere with the running of the election. We are just here to make sure that our people vote in a peaceful manner na at the end of the day tupate ushindi. Kama hiyo ndio matarajio ya mtu yote ambaye anaingia katika kinyang'anyiro. Lakini tetezi za kusema kuwa tuko hapa ili kutatiza upigaji kura kwa wakazi wa Magarini, hizo ni porojo tu. Na unajua mtu kama anashindwa kawaida huwa anakuja na excuses mingi sana na tunawaelewa.
Tayari mshaweza kuhisi ushindi?
I'm very confident 100% kwa sababu vile nimezunguka tokea asubuhi katika vile vituo ambavyo nimeenda, nimeona wale watu ambao nimeweza kuongea nao baada ya kupiga kura wote wamenihakikishia kwamba wamempigia kura Harrison Garama Kombe. Kwa hivyo mimi sina tashishi. I don't have any doubt in my mind that we are not going to win this election.
IBC ndio itakayetangaza mshindi, lakini uwepo wenu hapa nyinyi kama baadhi ya viongozi kutoka broad based government inaashiria nini? Je, uchaguzi kwa sasa upo huru na haki ama umeweza kuitalifiwa?
Uchaguzi uko huru na haki kwa sababu sisi hatujashurutisha mtu yeyote aende apige kura kwa mrengo fulani. Sisi tulizunguka tukafanya kampeni kama vile wagombeaji wengine wote waliweza kufanya kampeni. So at the end of the day, uamuzi ambao unafanyika hapa saizi ni wananchi wenyewe. Baada ya kufanywa kampeni kwa muda wa miezi miwili au miezi mitatu, leo ni siku ya uamuzi na wanakuja. Sisi tumekuja tu observe. Hakuna mambo mengi ambayo tunafanya. We are just here to make sure kwa hii uchaguzi pia unafanyika kwa uhuru na amani. Na ninashukuru kwa sababu katika hii ward ya Garashi ambayo mimi nasimamia, sijasikia kisa chochote cha vurugu, kisa chochote cha watu maybe kukosa nidhamu. Uchaguzi umekuwa wa amani and I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
Tumeweza kuona kidogo wewe na ndugu hapa mkiweza kuletana juu kidogo tumbo joto. Ili shida ni nini haswa?
Pengine yeye atuambie shida ni nini. Unajua huyu jamaa namjua miaka mingi na tumetoana mbali mimi na yeye. Lakini sasa pengine yeye mwenyewe ataeleza kama ana shida gani na mimi as a person kwa sababu mimi nafikiri sio mtu wa kwanza kwenda kwa observe election mahali. Kwa sababu right now tukiongea kuna wengine wameenda Malava ambao hawatoki Maraba. Mimi natoka Ganze lakini hapa ni jirani tu na kwa sababu tuko ndani ya broad based tumekuja hapa kusaidia timu za ODM kuhakikisha kwamba ushindi unapatikana. That is why we are here. Hakuna sababu nyingine ambayo tuko hapa sisi. Kwa hivyo kama yeye ana shida na mimi pengine ni ya kibinafsi ataisema, lakini
madai ya kuweza kuhonga piga kura
hizo ni porojo tu. Unajua kawaida unajua ukiona you are on the receiving end ama ukiona mambo hayaendi mazuri lazima ukuje na excuses. Amesema sijui amenipiga video mahali nikiongana. I hope hiyo video itamsaidia kuweka petition after majibu kutangazwa kwa sababu mimi najua haitaenda pande wake majibu. Kwa hivyo maybe hiyo itakuwa one of the things ambazo atapeleka kotini kama yuko nayo kweli, itamsaidia kufanya petition maybe kupinga matokeo ya uchaguzi baadaye.
Asante, kila laheri basi. Najua unaendelea kuzunguka lakini nipo na mgombea hapa mwenye njoo kaka hapa. Naona umekaa, upo na hasira. Pole, najua umeweza kuzunguka, umechoka. Huyu ni mgombea tu wa chama cha DNA ambaye ni Furaha Chengo ama ukipenda muite Kalama Wehu. Ameweza kujihusisha na siasa nyingi hapa zimefanyika hapa na sasa ni mgombea. Amezunguka na tupe jenga taswira. Ni kipi ambacho umekiona na kipi ambacho unataka kuzungumzia?
Kusema ukweli ODM ama broad based iko hapa kuhonga wapigaji kura. Nimetoka Mjanaheri, nimesumbuana na governor mpaka governor katoroka akiwa anahongana. Nikakuja Gongoni, nikaja nikafukuza wakihongana. Nikapigiwa simu, huyu sijui ni blood fucking Tungule huyo ako hapa.
Lugha sanifu tu, lugha sanifu.
Sasa na mimi nataka nitoke na hutu ndio kitu nyingine. Sitaki kuongea.
Asante basi, ni harakati tu. Iwapo piga picha yangu naweza kuonesha tu hapa basi, ndio hao wawili basi hivyo wanajaribu kuambatana tu polepole kuweza kujua hali itakuwaje, lakini ni hasira kati ya mgombea na yule ambaye anajiita super agent. Basi tutaweza kujua hali itakuwaje polepole katika hali yao nzima ya kuweza kuhakikisha basi kura hizo zinaweza kuendelea. Lakini je, zitakuwa za amani kura hizo? Zitakuwa za amani kura hizo? Lakini tutajua hali halisi itakuwa vipi, manake tayari huyu mgombea wa kiti hiki cha ubunge katika eneo hili Kalama Wehu au kipenda muite Furaha Chengo ameonekana amejawa na jazba, na kwa sasa amesema basi amewacha shughuli zake zote, ataweza kuandamana na hawa viongozi wa broad based government ambao wako katika maeneo haya kuweza kuangalia kura inaendelea vipi. Anasema wamehusika pakubwa katika swala zima la kuweza kuhakikisha bana wanaweza kujihusisha na uhongaji wa kura, lakini wenyewe wameweza kukataa. Hatujui hali itakuwaje, na pia wenyewe upande wa broad based government tayari umeweza kuashiria kwamba wao wako na matumaini makubwa ya chama cha ODM kuweza kuibuka na ushindi, lakini ni swala ambalo tume IBC yenyewe ndio itakaoamua katika zoezi zima la zile kura kuweza kutamatishwa na hali halisi itakuwaje hapo mwisho. Kwa hivyo tutajaribu kuangalia tu vipi itakavyokuwa hali halisi ya kura hizi zinazoendelea kwa sasa hapa. Tayari Kalama Wehu ashatoka na gari lake, na gari lilo pale mbele ambalo mpiga picha yangu anakuonyesha kwa sasa ni gari la hawa viongozi wa broad based government ambao wanazunguka wakijaribu kujihusisha na masuala haya ya kura, ya kujaribu kuangalia kura zao, kura zinazopigwa katika maeneo haya zinaenda namna gani. Hivyo basi tutazidi kutakambi katika maeneo haya tuweze kuangalia kipi kitakachokuwa kinaendelea na kumjuza yule mtazamaji wetu mahali popote pale alipo. Lakini kituo hichi basi ni kituo cha Garashi ambacho ni mojawapo ya kituo ambacho yule mwaniaji wa kiti cha mwaniaji wa kiti cha ubunge kwa kiti cha chama cha ODM Harry Kombe basi anategemea pakubwa maeneo haya, ikizingatiwa basi ni maeneo ambao amekuwa na ufuasi mkubwa, ikizingatiwa na maeneo yale ya Adu kule ambapo basi yule mwaniaji wa kile kiti cha ubunge kupitia tikiti ya DCP basi ambaye ni Stanley Kenga pia kule nako anaweza kuegemea pakubwa sana kuweza kuungwa mkono. Kwa hivyo katika maeneo haya sita basi ambayo yako katika maeneo haya wadi sita ambayo yapo katika eneo bunge hili la Magarini, basi maeneo mawili ambayo ni Magarini na Sabaki, maeneo haya basi yameweza kuwekezwa zaidi sana kwa huyu mwaniaji wa kiti cha ODM ambaye ni Harrison Kombe, na pia vile vile eneo hili la Adu na pia eneo la Gongoni ni maeneo ambayo pia yameweza kuwekezwa zaidi katika huyu mwaniaji wa chama cha DCP ambaye ni Stanley Kenga, na maeneo mawili ambayo yamesalia pale basi ambayo ni maeneo ya mvutano ambayo yanatarajiwa kuona nani ambaye ataweza kupatia ushindi upande wote ule basi ni eneo hili la Marafa na eneo la Sabaki. Kwa hivyo wadi ya Marafa na wadi ya Sabaki, iwapo mgombea ataweza kuangangana pale kupata uungwaji mkono mkubwa, huenda akaibuka na mshindi. Ile kwa sasa basi tumeweza kuona viongozi hawa wawili ambao wanapigiwa upato wakiweza kulinda ngome zao kwa upana zaidi, na pia vile vile tukumbuke kwamba huyu mwanaji ambaye ametoka hapa ambaye pia ni Kalama Wehu ama Furaha Chengo anatokea pia maeneo haya hapa karibu. Hivyo basi ameweza kumpa tahadhari mbunge huyo kwamba usiendelee kuzunguka maeneo haya kwa sababu pia yeye yuko na familia yake na ukoo upande huu, huenda kujipata mahali pabaya. Lakini tisa basi tutaweza kuzamia swala hili kuweza kujua ni yapi atakayojiri, kwa sababu hadi kutoka mwendo wa asubuhi amani imeweza kushuhudiwa hadi kufikia sasa, lakini tuna maneno ambayo tumeweza kuona kwa sasa kwamba maafisa wa polisi wameanza kushika doria kuweza kuangalia ni nani ambaye pia analenga kuweza kutatiza usalama huu na vurugu. Kutoka eneo hili la Garashi, eneo bunge la Magarini, jina langu naitwa Boniface Msangi, kwako studio.
Well, thank you very much, Boniface Msangi, coming to us live from Magarini constituency in Kilifi County. He just had a brief moment there where he could speak to one of the contenders, Furaha Chengo, alias Kalama Wehu, who is vying under the Democratic National Alliance seat. And in an agitated tone, he mentions that ODM is there to ruin the vote. Remember, ODM's seat is being vied for by Harrison Kombe Garama. Harrison Kombe Garama did actually win the 2022 elections, but his seat was actually nullified after another contendant from DCP, Stanley Kenga, went to court and cited irregularities. So this seat became vacant, and Magarini alongside Banisa are the two constituencies that have for a very long time, more than 2 years even, been vacant. They have not had a member of parliament for about 1.5 to 2 years ago. Now, obviously you can sense that there is a bit of anxiety, there is a bit of agitation there. And as the time goes by, we will continue to engage our field correspondents correspondents. Right now in studio, my two other guests have arrived, and that is, I had already introduced Sophie Debire. So right on the right of Sophie Debire is Vincent Akech, who is also a political analyst. Vincent, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
At the very end there, I am joined by Peter Musendu. Peter Musendu is also a governance expert. Now, I have two analysts and a governance expert on set, and my director tells me it's Mushendo, right?
Mushendo, yes.
Mushendo, not Musendo. It's written as Musendu. And I'm sorry for that.
No.
Yeah, my director tells me it's Mushendo, the correct pronunciation. So thank you very much also for being in the studio here with us. Now, early on, before we had taken a trip towards the fields, we started Kasipu, went to Malava, and then finished with Magarini. I had introduced Sophie, and I had asked Sophie the question that has been asked on this set and various other sets, because I've been listening to this since morning. There's a question that has been asked to almost all guests, and I feel like it is fair that I also bring it here, albeit some hours have passed by. But I feel like it is very important for me to ask this question: how significant are these by-elections? And more so now, given the turnout that we've seen of people, more so now given the little altercations and a bit of violence here and there that we've seen since morning, it begs the question even more. So Sophia, I will start with you. How significant exactly are these by-elections?
Very, like I have alluded a while ago, like I said, it is a monumental time for Kenya. Litmus test, so to put it, whereby we are going to see what the current IEBC, just recently institutionalized, is capable of doing. We are going to weigh them heavily into, vetting them to see whether they are qualified to be able to run our 2027 elections. And speaking on behalf of the broader opposition, our presidential candidate was on ground in one of the affected areas which had pockets of skirmishes. You can clearly see how desperate the government, or I say broad-based government, is either to retain their seats and even perhaps living in denial to the fact that Kenyans have already decided that enough of their leadership and they want to change hands. So we are hopeful from the opposition side that IEBC does its job to be able to ensure there's no subversion of the people's will. We are very optimistic that out of these many seats that are vacant, the people's voice will be heard through this. So we are calling upon all our supporters. We're calling all Kenyans to come out, not to fear, because the tensions that we've been seeing are sponsored tensions by the broad-based. You have already heard it with your own ears from Magarini, what is happening, because these are people that are known on ground. It can't just be somebody from somewhere else. So our hope is that it ends well, and we are not fueling the voter suppression, because that is the main idea of bringing in the skirmishes on ground. So calling upon Kenyans to say, don't fear. We started this battle long time ago. We are yet to finish it. We have a few hours to the close of time. Go out there and make your voices heard.
Okay, thank you very much, Sophie Debire. If I could just move on to you, Mr. Vincent. Mr. Vincent, what is your thought of the significance of these by-elections? People are saying it's a moment of truth. People are saying it's a litmus test for the IEBC. People are saying it's a roadmap to 2027. I mean, these are just by-elections. Why is that so?
Well, first, I would like to thank you for having me here.
Right.
And number two is we must say that these by-elections, they are by far very significant, very, because number one, it's a test to the government. If they've not been listening to the people, then I think today they'll have to listen to the returning officers.
And number two, again, it's a test for the IBC. You know that, we have a new IBC. They've not carried any election before, leave alone a high school election. So this is the first test that we are giving them as a people. And they have a big point to prove. Rather, they have a big shoe to fill, or rather, they have a big gap to fill, and prove to us that they are really the people we've been looking for. You know the history of our IBC, ever since before. I mean, they've really had a very bad image. I mean, they've carried out elections which have resulted in violence. I mean, and it's quite unfortunate to see that there's some regions that there's an MP who has faced some violence. Initially, I mean, initially we had a man who could calm down the violence. That is the late Raila Amolo Odinga. But now, since Raila is not here, I would like to play that role for him and call the people of Kasipul Kabondo that constituency has been marred with violence ever since. I mean, the greatest gift we can give to Raila Amolo Odinga right now, as he rests, is to ensure that we see no more violence in that place. I mean, the only violence we should see today is violence against a poor healthcare system, violence against poor education system, violence against poor governance in our country. And I'd also just lastly to call those who've not been able to cast their votes. They could be in their farms, and I want to speak with them. They could be teachers in their classes. They could be in their offices. I would like to urge them that in the remaining 2 to 3 hours, they have a democratic duty to do. And this duty is not for one person. This duty is for the over 1.2 million Kenyans who've not been represented for the past 2 years.
All right, thank you very much. So, Peter Mushendu, if I could just come to you, what is your thought on the significance and importance of these by-elections today?
I think one of the saddest thing about by-elections, especially when we are coming to the corner of the general election, is that they aren't about the candidate and the issues on the ground. I'll pick a case study of Marava and Mbere. You have seen Mbere here in the mountain. It is not about the issues of the people of Mbere. It is the issues of who is going to be the king, who is going to create a perception on going to 2027 election, which perception is going to be created if, for instance, a candidate associated with the opposition wins. That's the perception. So one thing I pick is that these general by-elections have got zero to do with the people of where these votes are cast. That's why you would witness one person from another corner of Kenya purporting to throw another person from another corner of Kenya out of Mbere. It is rather very sad that the person being thrown out of a polling station is being thrown by people who are not from Mbere, other than Justin Muturi, who was previously a member of parliament for the larger Siakago constituency. So bottom line is that the significance of this by-election is not the actual significance that should be there. It should be significant to the people who are electing their representative. Unfortunately, it is not about that. It is about people who are purporting to contest for power in 2027. And that's the most unfortunate thing. But I would also say that having been involved in a number of by-elections there before, what we are witnessing is a trade of accusation. They did, we did. And this is a normal trend in a by-election where you find that there is a lot of national interest. As today, if the side that is government wins in Mbere, here in the mountain, it is that perception that the government is still in control. if the opposition wins, the perception is that the government has lost track on the ground. And those are the most unfortunate thing, that these by-elections have got zero to do with the locals. It is about the the national political platform, where they are trying to outdo each other. You have just by classic looking at your interviews, there is about an interview of like 5 MPs who have come on screen. All of them, they are neither, maybe nobody is from that particular constituency. So therefore, I would urge that we still have like, I think, two and a half hours. Let those who are willing to go and vote be given an opportunity to go and cast their votes. Let us ensure that they cast their vote in peace, because at the end of the day, there is one thing I can tell you, and I practically dispute because I have seen some people. In Kenya today, it is not practically possible to stuff ballots. That is ultimate lie when you hear somebody talking about stuffing of ballots. Elections in Kenya, the biggest problem is the stakeholder management of election, because today we have a regulation that stipulates that votes are counted and announced at the polling station. Before they leave that particular room, there is a declaration of results. So anybody trying to insinuate that there would be ballot stuffing, that is wrong. But also, we are also calling on the election stakeholders to uphold integrity of this election. The IEBC staffs, the members of the security apparatus that have been entrusted to ensure that there is peace in these polling stations. But also, I would also want to probably deviate a little bit and disagree with the Honorable Justin Muturi. When you read the Election Act about the regulations of party colors or party symbols, it is, if you are going to send someone out of an election center because of a certain color, that color must be accompanied by a party symbol. Because if today as a voter or as somebody else walks in a red, because at the end of the day, for instance, in Mbere, the 3 candidates who are the major candidates, the CCK, the UDA, and the what do you call UDA and the DP colors. If you combine the 3 parties and their colors, they have a combination of 9 colors.
Okay.
So are you gonna tell the voters or the people coming not to wear? There is a reason why the regulation stipulates not just color. It does not stop at colors.
Right.
It stops. Nonetheless, I think on the side of that particular MCA, that was a dare, because you come from a particular party that has a particular color that you are wearing. That was inviting trouble to your doorstep, and I think that was an oversight from them.
Right.
But as to the regulations, it will not really augur well with the regulations because they are very specific. But I guess then again, all we are asking is, let us Kenyans who have the
I do want us to analyze the small altercation that happened in Mbeere North regarding that color and what it really symbolizes. Because as we rightly say, one color can cut across different parties, but there is always that color that is being associated with that party. For example, orange. If I say orange is associated with which party?
ODM.
It's quite obvious. If I say yellow, it is associated with which party? I mean, there are things like that. And I want us to get back to that shortly. But first, I'll come back to you, Akech, regarding what Mushendo has explained very well, that there's a lack of priorities. There's a misplaced priorities in these by-elections, because now the focus is no longer for the seat that is meant to assist the people of that constituency. The focus has shifted into the kingpins. Who is who? Who will get this seat? What is the projection for 2027? So the priorities and the focus have shifted a little bit. And I want to come back to you because you spoke about violence earlier on when we were talking, when I asked you, what is your view on the significance of the by-elections today? And you did mention that there should be no violence, and you are advocating for people not to partake in violence. So again, I want to ask you, who is causing this violence?
Well, very interesting. But I think I must start by saying that the politics of violence are the politics of the past. As a country, we should not be degenerating to such kind of stuff. Yeah. We need to really look into this by-election as a clean preparation. If we start violence right now, you can imagine how it will look like. It will look chaotic. So we as a people of this country must be intentional when we are going to this election. It doesn't matter. Be a member of your party, my party, their party, whoever's party. I think we should place our democracy first. We need to give everyone a space to speak their mind and definitely the time to cast their votes as they wish. No one should coerce anybody to vote for a certain candidate. And you see, the reason why we are seeing violence today, you've seen one party accusing the other party of voter bribery. I mean,
so the violence is being caused by parties?
They are the key players. So they are the main cause. So IBC must really, you know, as I said before, that this is a test. Not only how much strong the government is, no. It's also a test of the IBC. How structured is our IBC? It's a new test for them. We must agree with that. But they must make it their intention to cause as lesser error as possible. 100% might be difficult to achieve, but it would be best if we achieved 100%. Violence has no chance. In this time, era of time where people are sleeping hungry, where the young people have no jobs, then we want to go to the station and cause violence. I think that is just a divergent, a plan to diverge the decision of the people. One, not to go and vote or influence them to vote for another candidate. But the people must remain focused. They must remember why we are here, what brings us here, and what we must achieve from this.
Right.
And definitely, it's democracy for everybody. I think that's my take on that.
All right, thank you very much. There is a very popular Swahili saying that says, fahali wawili wakipigana, nyasi ama zizi ndo inaumia.
And you see, I would agree with him.
Yes.
That this election has diverged from being a people-based election, by-election. This has become more of a kingpin by-election. We are trying to see who's more powerful in a certain region. And you see, for the head of state to pick the MP of Mbeere, where, you know, I mean, he's not being largely supported right now, I would say it's a litmus test.
It is a litmus test.
A huge one.
All right, so thank you very much. Again, what I meant, fahali wawili wakipigana, ni nyasi ama ni zizi ndo walaumia. What does that mean? It means for this particular day today, in comparison to what has happened in the morning until now, we have not set or seen any isolated cases where it is the people fighting for their seats. Unfortunately, all the violence that we've seen since morning until now is one head at loggerheads with another head, one party fighting another party. So again, you talk about IEBC and that this is a litmus test for IEBC. And Sophie, when we spoke earlier on, you also mentioned IEBC. And you said very categorically that opposition states that IEBC should do its job. Now, you also mentioned that you have your presidential candidate who's on ground, so I think you've already cleared it that you are a member of the opposition. It's quite clear, based on your comments. Exactly. Now, I need to ask you this. How confident are you, as a representative of whatever party you're coming from, with the IEBC?
Fatma, because this is the very first time this particular commission instituted is taking up its very first task. It is about, you know, us checking them out to see whether they qualify. So which I can say it is an advantage for them and is a good opportunity for institutions like that, IEBC, to prove themselves. It's very interesting that I also sit in a political party committee representing my party. So this is discussions that we've been having in our board meetings, in our discussions, because we are a tripartite arrangement working together. That is the political parties, IEBC, and the Office of the Registrar. And some of what is happening today are concerns that we have put and tabled squarely to IEBC to ensure that there is no repeats of the same. And it's a bit shocking to see that as early as, you know, commencement of the voter opening up today, some of us were asking ourselves, where is Etakon? Why isn't he talking about this? Again, when my two brothers say that this has now shifted to be a kingpin showdown, question is, how did we get there?
You tell us.
How did you get there? This is how it got there. It got there the moment or the days whereby privileges are actually tended to be like one-sided, whereby if a member of opposition were going to drum their own support on the ground to the people, they are barred, they are frustrated, they are harassed, they are sent for goons. And when it is the other side, which is broad-based, everything of theirs goes smooth. So we've raised this particular incident, I'll pick, that was like about 2 weeks ago in Kasipul, the very first skirmish that happened. We took it to IEBC and said, look, what are you doing? I thought we had agreed that this shouldn't be happening. What actions have you taken to protect our people, which is our political parties? We are a democracy. We are not a multi-party. We are not a single-party state. We are a multi-party state. And if we are allowing so and so to move to sell their manifestos or whatever it is that they're doing, why is it so hard when other people are doing the same is a problem. So when you bring about this double standard as a state, what did you expect? Of course, everybody has their godfathers or their fathers. It's like a home. When you attack the children so much, who else you'll be confronting? It's the parents.
Is it possible for you to be a bit more specific? Where is the double standard?
The double standard is where exactly in Mbere. Mbere is where everything was happening like almost simultaneously. When DCP people were doing their thing, like, you know, doing their campaigns, they were always attacked. The roads were being barricaded for them not to pass in certain roads. Police everywhere. But if it was Wamadende and let's say, for instance, the DP who was also, you know, part of his campaign, there were no police. The roads were very clear. So
you're saying the IEBC is biased?
IEBC, that's what I'm saying, litmus test for them, because this is their first job that they're doing. And we want them as political parties. We want to see how you handle us on ground, right? So you have to see how they read their results. Yeah.
Peter,
yes.
You look like you have something in mind.
Yeah, because I'll probably tell my sister this issue of making by-elections about national issues and forgetting the people who are specifically, you know,
the purpose of it all.
And the purpose of doing that has not started with this government. We saw in the last government, Kiamba, Juja, molding and building the speed towards the 2022 general election. It's okay. It's rather unfortunate because then again, as we are saying here that IEBC's litmus test is now, politicians are also doing their own litmus test in these by-elections. They are looking at how popular am I in this particular region? How easily can I be able to capture? Because more or less the same, the moods that are in the country in the last 2 years to the general election normally would really or drastically change. But then again, my point is, I said I have been involved in by-elections before. And if you talk to the street speakers here in Eastlands, watakwambia hii mchezo wa town tunaijua. I have been involved in by-elections where people kidnap themselves. I've been involved personally in by-elections where we produce or we manufacture information that is supposed to influence voters who are yet to vote. So with these by-elections, especially, I would be very keen to see Mbere and Magarini and and Marava. Those 3 by-elections are very significant because if you realize 80% of the campaign you have witnessed in those 3 constituencies are not by the candidate, the specific candidate, whether it is DAP Kenya candidate, whether it is UDA candidate, whether it is DCP candidate, or it is DP candidate. The people you see are the people who are in different political formations at the top brass. And unfortunately, and my appeal to them is, when this dust settles, because then again, today we cannot change the fact that these by-elections are naturally about the national political platform, but if and when the dust settles, I feel for the IEBC, because either way, if today DCP loses in Magarini, or DP loses in, DP loses in Mbere, or probably UDA loses in Marava, for instance, I'm just giving an example, you will still have this trade-in on IEBC. The problem in this country is that those people calling for the IEBC to stand firm are not calling at IEBC with an open mind. They only believe IEBC will have done right if their candidate wins.
So
if
everybody
their candidate
is
doesn't
self-centered.
win, yes, it's a self-centered call.
Yes.
This is it. I can assure you, tomorrow, if you invite us here in the evening and the results are announced, you will hear whoever has lost, IEBC does not have credibility, IEBC. What I would say about IEBC, there has been quite a lot of issues raised in terms of security, in terms of voter bribery, and all those things. There are apparatus and parameters given to IEBC to deal with these matters.
Okay.
And they right now, they may not deal with them today,
right,
but how they deal with these issues, because regardless of the results, these issues must be dealt with, and is what will define how IEBC
all right,
thank
you thank you very much, Peter Mushendu. Now, I want us to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to look at the low turnout of voters. Meanwhile, we'll also look at angry Kanyambora residents who have blocked the former public service CS, Geoffrey Ruku, from accessing some of the the current public CS, Geoffrey Ruku, from accessing some of the polling stations there. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
The family meets for AFCON 2025. To book your seat, dial *423# to get or stay connected to DSTV access for only 1,450 Kenya shillings or GoTV value for just 599 Kenya shillings. Live on Supersport.
Before the chaos starts, she claims this moment. No rush, no makeup, just sour soft glycerin. Hydration that shows up before she has to.
Nice, make it fly. Nice. Hang on.
Her tools change, her pace doesn't. Sour rich cocoa butter, thick, smooth, never in the way. The world moves fast. 254 moves faster, but this stays.
Sour smooth, sour fresh.
Sour lotion for a hair your skin ritual every day.
Nico fine, Nico best.
Kids.
Yeah.
Fun, laughter, and adventure. From cartoons that spark the imagination to stories that inspire young hearts and minds.
And I've come here to discuss about unity. Are you ready?
Yes!
We've got the little ones covered. Safe, exciting, and made just for kids.
I'm bored. I've got nothing to do.
Yeah. I'm so bad. Before I get out of an elevator, I touch all the buttons.
The escapades never stop on K24TV. K24TV, our shared fun, our shared experience. K24TV, our shared experience.
Huyu ni Brayo. Hii Krisi, Brayo anadai tu furaha. Akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate. Akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial *423# to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
Asante kwa kunipigia simu. Simu yako nitaipokea kwa muda usiokuwa mrefu. Je, unajua kuwa wimbo wa taifa wa Kenya ulitokana na wimbo wa Kipokomo, mojawapo ya kabila za pwani nchini Kenya? Wimbo rasmi ulitungwa na Thomas Johnson Kalume.
Ili kuset asante kwa kunipigia kama skiza tune yako, dial *811*622#.
Don't you just love a fun gathering?
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Sarah.
The chance to reconnect with your people, your passions, and the stories that bring joy to your home. From epic sports to the hottest local series and the best kids entertainment, DSTV makes wherever you are the best plan for the holidays.
This festive season, get your DSTV decoder for only 850 Kenya shillings today.
True understanding requires more than a headline. The People Daily app delivers our trusted in-depth journalism directly to you. Get comprehensive reporting, insightful political analyses and special features optimized for your life on the go. Get the stories that deserve your attention wherever you are. The People Daily app. News that moves with you.
Huyu ni Brayo. Hii Krisi, Brayo anadai tu furaha. Akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate. Akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial *423# to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
K24TV, our shared experience. K24TV, our shared.
Thank you very much for staying with us here at K24 TV. Now we are providing live coverage of the by-elections today, 27th of November 2025, and the by-elections are cutting across 15-member MCA positions, that is member of the county assembly positions, 6 member of the National Assembly positions, and 1 senatorial position cutting across different counties and constituencies all over Kenya. In studio, I am joined by Sophie Debire, who is a political analyst, right alongside Vincent Akech, who is also a political analyst. And at the very end there, I have Peter Mushendu, who is a governance expert, and we're here to just analyze what has been happening from morning until now. Remember, the voting polling stations opened at 6 a.m. and are scheduled to close at 5 p.m. with over 67,000 registered voters in Kasipul, over 94,000 registered voters in Malava, and a bunch of others, for example, in Mbeere North, Bere North, over 60,000 also registered voters. Now, just before we went on break, we were speaking to Peter Mushendu, and Peter Mushendu was of the idea that we have lost focus when it comes to the seats, the parliamentarian seats, especially the big three mentioned, Malava, Kasipul, and Magarini.
That is
and Mbere, stating that we've lost focus, and instead of focusing on what exactly this seat is supposed to mean for the people of that constituencies, this has turned into a war where parties and leaders are fighting each other. Peter, I will come back to you again regarding the same notion where we've lost our way. An MP, a member of parliament seat for a constituency, what does that mean? It means it's a representation to the constituents for the NGCDF, for water, for roads, all that, a representation of those constituents in parliament. But this, as you rightly say, has been shifted, has been changed. It's no longer about the constituents. It's no longer about the people. Rather, it's about who is the kingpin where, who is the head where. Now, basing just on that, could you attribute this to the low number of voter turnouts today?
Well, when it comes to the voter turnout, I think the far we have done should be 40%, I think, or thereabout. I don't have the numbers on my fingertips, but the biggest has not gone beyond 50% of voter. We have not achieved 50%.
We have not, because even our correspondents in Magarini stated that it takes about 5 to 10 minutes before you see a voter walking in.
I saw you cover, I saw
Baringo
covering
is equally slow.
Even at here, not far, here in Kariobangi for an MCA seat.
Yes.
There is a voter. Generally, in the last by-elections we have done in the last 10 years, we have not hit 50% of the voter turnout anywhere. And I'll tell you, you cannot really separate by-elections with national politics, because it is sorts of, like in the US, you know, they have what you call midterm elections. In this country, we don't have midterm elections. But when you have by-elections cropping up at the middle of a term, it is sorts of supposed to be a measure of how people take their current government. It is a mid-term measure of what do people think about the current government, and therefore the national politics will play. But in these particular by-elections, we have 100% alienated the issues of the local voter in many of the places. If you look at the reporting, you are reporting at Narok, for instance. Look at your reporting at Kapsil. It is the issues that are based on those people are really put behind when you have political figures going. And I challenge even of those of us who go together with the media, how much as for the state are we focusing on the issues? Today, if you ask Kenyans who watch media, what are the 4 things that are affecting the people of Mbere? Unless you have gone to Mbere yourself, you will realize that that has been lost in the middle. And therefore, what I would probably urge for the state, because the people to be able to help this country focus on the issues more, it is not the politicians. It is the fourth estate if they so decide. I'll cite out K24 when you were doing 2022 election. You had a program where you are focusing on issues based on a particular constituency, this constituency, this county, what are the issues affecting. And I think that ought to be done by the fourth estate, because most of the people who are watching us are consuming what we are speaking here because they seem to believe that we who sit in the studios of fourth estate have seen it, the fourth estate has seen it, and therefore they are able to tell. So I would probably say that even from our end, as the media and those who sit in the media, we have also failed the people because we have not really conclusively covered the issue. For instance, you realize Bere North is an arid area. It is completely an arid area. One of the biggest issues is that the Teacher Service Commission is looking to take away the hardship allowance. It is a very serious issue in Bere North, where every teacher who works in Bere North works in a hardship area. I have gone to a place that there is simply no roads that exist in those places. And therefore, those are the issues that ought to be covered, even if Rigathi Gachagua or those associated with the president have gone to the ground to campaign for their party candidate or whoever is associated, these issues that affect the local Mwananchi must not be lost in the middle of that national
All right, thank you very much, Peter Mushendo, and Peter Mushendo there explaining to us that the constituents have been shunned away because of all this political rivalry. Now, I want us to take a look at a video here where we have angry Kanyambora residents who have blocked the Public Service CS Geoffrey Ruku from entering the Kanyambora polling station. Now, CS Geoffrey Ruku had earlier on gone to oversee the voting exercise, but he was stopped from entering the polling station. He was shouted down and was forced to retreat. The visibility agitated crowd accused him of attempting to interfere with the process and formed a human barrier, a literal human barrier at the station's entrance, bringing movement to a standstill.
The way you want. Yes. Ukitaka kuchagua mtu wa opposition, uchague. Na wewe una ukabila wewe. Hauna ukabila. Na kura zetu zilindwe vizuri. Guza. Guza yeye. Toka station. We don't need him. We don't need him. Kabisa. One time. One time. Look at these vehicles without number plates. They have accessed the polling station with the CS Roko. And what has happened here is that he has started intimidating the election officials. Not only that, even the agents going to an extent of ridiculing one of the lawyers and servers who are here. Twende. No, Doka. You see already. The same people.
Those are images from Mbeere North and residents of the Kanyambora in Mbeere North have blocked the Public Service CS Geoffrey Ruku, who is the former MP of that area, from accessing the Kanyambora polling station, citing that, you know, he's not supposed to be there. They literally formed a human wall, asking him to retreat. Earlier today, we did see the CS Geoffrey Ruku arriving in Mbeere North alongside his candidate, that is Wamudenge. And the unfortunate bit, and I want to reiterate and quote verbatim, where the candidate Ramudenge said, I know the crowd, I know my people, looking around, I have already won. Sophie, I want to start with you. This kind of mentality, and especially putting it out there in public, what do you think are effects of such?
Very unfortunate, Fatma. The chest thumping about the broad-based, let me just put it that way, government in this show, the chest thumping we are seeing in the broad-based by-election contest is way beyond explanation. This is a whole CS with his aspirant, and publicly, because they believe with the machinery they have and the power they have, because they're in government, they are going to do whatever it is that they think would be humanly possible to them to be able to clinch the seat. They are forgetting that the power is with the people. The voters are the ones who are going to determine this.
All right.
And as you have just seen from that polling station, it's called what?
Kanyambora.
Yes, Kanyambora. Mwananchi has literally sent the CS away, meaning they are protecting the votes. And we're not going to leave any loophole whatsoever of intimidation, because previously, this is how they do it. A whole CS will walk in and maybe threaten the IEBC and say, do this, this is what I'm instructing you to do. So what have we, Wananchi, decided to do? Because we already know this is how they do it. We are not going to allow those loopholes anywhere or whatsoever. And similar is happening in next door neighbor, my next door neighbor in Kisii. Osoro has been in running battles as early as midnight last night. And what has the Vijanas or Kenyans do on ground? Barricaded all the panya routes getting to those specific polling stations. Nyansiongo has been burning hot since morning. And what did Osoro do? Osoro had pickups full of people with machetes and arrows. When Wananchi saw that, very big stones were mounted on those roads. They could not pass. And all of them retreated home to go get their arrows. So you can already see where this problem is coming from. Let us not play, saints and this is what I was telling you, the double standards. Because when you do this to me, what do you expect me to do? Sit and wait for you to continue doing what you're doing? No. We will have to retaliate, to push back. And I would really want to take this opportunity, Fatma, to applaud Kenyans. Na niwaambie mutindo ni huo. Like mushikilie hapo. 2027, this is how we are going to do it. Protect our votes, if need be, in whichever way we believe or see possible. Because we are the ones voting, not them. And allowing anybody to come and subvert that is criminal.
Right.
So we're not going to allow it.
All right, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Kenyans.
Okay, congratulations to you, Kenyans. Thank you very much, Sophie Debiria. If I could come to you, and still back on that video where they've decided to chase away the current public CSN, former MP of Mbeere North, knowing very well that he actually belongs to Mbeere North, but they said, no, you're not coming in. I would like us to look at it from the people's point of view. Do you think that there's a sense of frustration that is happening now with the constituents?
I mean, it all goes back to the men in uniform. I think their last job for the day should be to ensure that everybody who cannot access the stations due to fear are reassured of their own security to access the stations and to cast their vote. And for the IEBC, normally for the Kenyan people, we are late voters. History has it for us. I mean, we vote at 5 p.m. Not because they don't want to vote, but because they have to take their tea to the factories. They have to go to pick their kids from school. Some have to, they have different stuff they have to do. I would want to urge the IEBC, as early as now, that 6 p.m., looking at now 46% who've already voted, we might need to extend the time So the earlier they prepare their floodlights, the earlier they prepare, because this by-election is not going to be easy. I must tell you here, it's not going to be the easiest one we've ever seen before. So the earlier the IEBC, the security organs prepare to secure the vote and secure the people, I think they still have, because we have over 60% who are still yet to come to vote. So 6 p.m., not ideal.
And considering it is a working day.
Exactly.
So
it's a working day.
Yeah, we still are to anticipate and expect other people to show up to the polls.
So they must extend it a little bit. So let's not get at night, and then we see now darkness in the station, voting boxes, ballot boxes being stuffed in those stations. I think the earlier they prepare floodlights, security and their team to be on standby, the security to be on standby, the better for our nation. Because this is not just an election. This is a test to our democracy as a people. And the best way we carry out this exercise, you know, I mean, I am that one person who doesn't like his neighbors laughing at him. We've laughed at one of our neighbors recently. You know who they are. So we must not turn ourselves to be a laughing stock. We must do better. The people are casting their votes. They must protect their votes. Anybody who's seen as going to the station to bribe the voters, to interfere with the process, to cause violence, I think the police need to deal with them, because you've seen the people. You've seen the people. If the security is not going to ensure that they kick these people out as soon, as early as they are seen, I think, they have a great job to do.
Right.
They have a great job.
So thank you for that opinion. And Peter, I want to come back to you in just 1 minute, but I catch, there's something you've mentioned that you wish for IEBC to extend the time. And well, I have been an agent before, I'll tell you this. I've been an agent, not an IEBC agent, a political candidate's agent, yeah? And trust me, nothing good comes out in the dark. So I wouldn't think that it would be safe to extend past 5 p.m. if you asked me. Because here's the thing, Akech, if a small fight like this breaks down in a polling station, it is enough to make it as big as possible. I have seen that with my own eyes.
I mean, I agree with you. And that's why we have a contingent of men and women in uniform. Security must be beefed up. The reason why I say that IEBC must prepare is because we must look at it in a real way. I've not seen any election that a polling station closed at 5 or 6 p.m. Ever since I became a voter in 2013, all of them extend. And we've always done a mistake where we don't protect the stations.
Don't plan for it?
We've never planned for it. So the earlier, right now it's at 4 p.m.
It's already almost 4.
We have 2 hours to go. If the IBC can, I know they are watching us live. I want to urge them that they must send security, not to fight the people. No.
To protect the votes.
To protect the vote.
And protect the people.
And protect the people too. I think this is a very urgent meeting they must carry out right now, because this is a very important democratic process that we must it must be free, verifiable, and very fair to everyone.
All right, Peter, it looks like you're pressed with something.
No, I would say the regulations for the IEBC is very clear, that only people who are queuing at 5 p.m. only, only those who are in the queue at 5 p.m. are allowed to vote. God forbid you have a queue of 500 people, because then that takes you all the way to the wee hours of the night. Doesn't matter whether you close at 9, but as long as that person was at the queue. Also, something significant most people don't know is that for every election, it is no longer the OCS in charge of security. The regulations are very clear. The returning officer, every police officer in that by-election is under the rule and regulations set out by the returning officer. And therefore, that's why we say IEBC has to be seen to be above and be above board. because one of the biggest problems we are facing today, and we never faced, I'll tell you, I was a chief agent of a candidate in both Juja and Kiambaa by-elections. One of the things that helped us to learn away from skirmishes and violence, because it was not witnessed, it was that we never had any active member of parliament or CS roaming around the constituency.
True.
We ensured that they are put somewhere, and normal Kenyans, who you probably don't know, were looming around taking care of the issues of election. The candidate I was, no single member of parliament was roaming around, other than a singular MP who brought our candidate to vote. Because that is mistake number one. Because if today you see JB Muturi on the ground, you will be very sure the other side will send somebody of equal stature to go. And then even the voters, it is no longer about the voters on the ground.
Is it because they are intimidating by nature?
No, it's purely not good intentions to have senior members of parliament, senior government officials looming around the constituency. It is not advisable, because even if you are coming there with a clean heart, the perception on the other side when they see you coming from the history we are coming from as a country, the perception is if they see him, huyu anakuja kuimba kura. It doesn't matter whether you came in good heart or whatever. So I will probably say that some of these election management, the do's and the don't, needs to be very well, because today, of all the days the campaigns have gone on in these wards and constituencies, today it should have been about the voter that votes in those constituencies. It should not be about the showdown. I've told you, you have seen accusations and counter accusations. People who are from one corner of Kenya trying to throw other people from another corner of Kenya. You have not seen any, have you seen anybody from Bere being thrown out of a polling station? Nobody. The contention you see and the shouting you see, it is of people who are without. They are from without those constituencies coming. And therefore, I would probably say that we also must make sure that we are prepared, because elections are not emergencies. Today, the IEBC, if there is no right in a certain particular polling stations, the IEBC will be held culpable, because this is not an emergency. This is an election that has been planned for a number of months. This election that has been planned for, you cannot, as a EBC, you cannot blame transportation, you cannot blame security, you cannot blame even electricity going off. Because when the electricity going off, what are the emergency actions that you put in place to ensure that we are seamlessly transitioning from lack of actual electricity to having artificial lights being done? And therefore, as they have said, anything goes wrong in a polling station, the IEBC has everything. And I'll tell you this, because one of the by-elections I was involved in, the regional police commissioner came. And I looked to him and I told him, the regulations do not stipulate that you should be here. You should be here.
Yes.
The regulations stipulates that the returning officer named the officers who are supposed to be here, from the clerks, the ICT people, the security, the agents. Those people who are supposed to be in this hall have been well articulated and recorded. And therefore we would always ask IEBC to avoid all these shenanigans today. And I would really request, if you can keep the active politicians out of, because majorly we are expecting to see showdowns in the tallying center, not in the polling stations. Okay. If they can keep active politicians, regardless of whichever side you are, outside the polling station, allow the agents who have been given the responsibility of being the chief agents to be in those polling stations, then I think we will have enough peace. We would expect by the time we close business tomorrow, we should be back to charting the way forward for Kenya away from this by-election.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, this is a bit controversial, so Aketh, I'm going to direct it to you. just today in the morning, we did have a bit of a controversy regarding CS Ruku at that time where he arrived with his candidate from Mudenge and an agent who was wearing the party colors, because we said we were going to come and address that. And not the party colors, he was wearing yellow. And yellow is associated with UDA. And at that particular time, we had the former Attorney General, J.B. Muturi, saying that this cannot be allowed in. You remember that today early in the morning.
Yep.
Now, that aside, now we're having another incident where CS Ruku is being kicked out by residents of the Kanyambura. Why did he go there in the first place? So the question I need to ask you is, do you think that many of these high government executives are running a lot today here and there because perhaps they're being tested, perhaps their jobs are on the line?
I mean, good question. But I think it's a question of the devil wearing white. Nothing changes.
There's a bit of desperation from even our very own CS from morning until now. There's something that is pushing him to go through all this.
You know,
what is that?
This is a seat that he held before. It'd be the biggest shame of our time for him to lose this seat. And the kind of desperation that we are seeing from the side of the government can clearly show you that these people have panicked. You saw the kind of campaigns that were there before. Campaign mirrored by insults. Somebody calling other people brainless, calling the people mindless. They don't have any idea. So, I mean, you wear the party color or not, I think the people of Kenya have made up their mind. The people of Mbeere have made up their mind. The people of Kasipul have made up their mind. From Banisa to Kariobangi, they have made up their mind. So that could be a clear oversight that we are seeing them not abiding by the rules. It could be the color, yes, the logo, yes. But I think where we are right now, even if the devil wears white,
you can spot them from a mile.
Maybe
they won't
just
see heaven.
Add on to what Victor is saying.
Yeah.
A good example is what a whole governor, Cecily Mbarire, crying foul in front of Mwananchi, saying, if you don't give me this seat, I will lose my job.
Do you think the president is putting them on test?
Exactly.
If you don't bring me the numbers, you can go. Do you think he will reshuffle the cabinet, saying, Ruku, you're not bringing me numbers?
But that's what always happens in our politics. If you're not bringing something on the table, you are shown the door. And Mbarire confirmed,
just 1 minute, yes.
Mbarire confirmed it to us, literally on her knees, telling Mbeere people, you please give it to me, otherwise I will even be sacked off as a chair of UDA.
And he said it verbatim.
He said it in broad daylight on cameras. So what does that tell you? They are so desperate to retain their jobs and forgetting who is their employer. The employer is not the president.
It's the people.
It is the people.
Say that again.
People. Oh yeah, I repeat. They forget who their employer is.
Yes.
We are their employers.
Mushendo.
We will fire and we will hire them.
Yes, what I am saying is, if it's about looking at what has happened in the campaign trail, we have got all sides trading in words and accusing each other of doing this and doing that.
We've had fatalities even.
Yes. And you know, we may also fall victim in this studio of what we are actually accusing people. We have just said that it was very wrong for the CS Roko to stand and say his candidate has won. But we also fall victim of already trying to preempt the results of elections that are going to go. Because what is of importance is, one, was the process credible? The credibility of this process is at crossroad right now, whether by the end of the day will the process be credible. We cannot solidify the credibility of this process based on the results, because the results are just results. They will come on either side. Either the candidate sponsored by the party that has employed the CS wins, or the candidate, DCP candidate wins, or even CCK candidate wins, because they are the top 3 in that. Go to Marava, whether Seth Panyako wins or Scott Daku wins, the results cannot be the litmus test for the IEBC. The IEBC, it is the credibility. And you see, if you are in a contest, you do whatever is humanly possible, including begging, including going to the ground, because if Her Excellency, the Governor of Embu, is literally begging people to elect their candidate, we have equally seen the DCP leader sitting down with the people purporting, and because this is in the public realm. Naturally, how often do you see our leaders sitting with our people and having the same coffee or the same tea and the same gouache we have? You only see these things when they want something out of you. And therefore, if it is about accusing leaders of manipulating people into electing the people of their choice, we have seen enough from all sides.
Mushendi, when a governor takes stage,
yes,
and asks people to vote for a particular contender,
yes,
the reasons should be valid. The reason should not be because I will lose my job. Don't you agree?
This goes back
the
to
reason should be this man will bring you changes. This man will make sure you live more comfortable.
This takes us back to the very reason I told you. The by-elections have nothing to do with the issues that are facing the people on the ground from either side, whether it is government or the United Opposition as they call themselves, all of them. This has nothing to do with Wanjiko. I've told you, one of the biggest problems in Bere is that almost over 50% of Bere does not have existing, Bere North does not have existing road network. This Bere is declared in the National Bureau of Statistics as an arid, completely arid area. The Bere North entire, you know, Bere North borders the Rakanithi and borders, I think, Kitui on the other side. It is a place that requires a lot of resources to be pumped in so that you can make the life of those people living there easy. But I have requested, if your people have picked even the United Opposition, assume government has failed in their duty. Has the United Opposition addressed the issues of Mbere? You know, that's the biggest problem. So when you listen to the leaders of United Opposition and you listen to those who are supporting government, all of them are saying, look,
two sides of a coin.
Must go. The other one, we must show that the mountain is behind the president. No single person has ably articulated the needs and the requirement of the Mbere people, the need and the requirement of Marava people. I have said that because both candidates in Marava are personal friends, from Seth Panyako, who I have worked with in other places. And look at these people. The election has nothing to do with the issues affecting the Marava people. What is the biggest issue in Marava? What is the biggest issue in Kapspin?
I think let me remind my brother Mashendo something here. We are not here because we've not been in this situation because that we have forgotten that it is supposed to be an issue-based, you know, issues to be sorted out. Remember, I know you're speaking for the government.
I must no. When I was called here, I was called here in my capacity as a government expert, and I will not have you invalidate my opinion on Mbere because I have addressed the issue of Mbere above board. I'm not addressing this issue as somebody. Then please retract that. I'm not here to speak on behalf of government. I'm here to speak on what my knowledge is based on governance.
It's on you. The ball is in your court.
Yes. Let me just put it this way. We have not forgotten that it's because of the same people, Kenyans' concerns being suppressed, Kenyans' cries being overlooked, Kenyans' outcry day in, day out, Kenyans complaining about what is not happening, what is not functioning in their constituents everywhere. healthcare, education, no medicine. The same people who are supposed to be able to ensure that there is no outcry from Mwananchi are the same people begging on their knees for them to be supported, to be re-elected again, to continue oppressing. And hence, the showdown of the bigwigs, because these are the same voices that the Kenyans are using to echo their cry. Where do you expect us to, or how do you expect this to turn out or to span in this kind of scenario? Because the same, you cannot expect Jackie, she sells for me omena in my village, to be listened to. She has no means of even coming here to speak on behalf of what.
But don't we have leaders for that?
Exactly. And if, again, the government, the broad-based government, adamantly, day and night, relentlessly suppressing, their work is to suppress the Mwananchi's voice. What do you expect from Mwananchi? Take the mantle and I say, we're going to take this in our own hands and try also fix it. Because any voice that comes up to speak on behalf of the people, it is shut down, right? So let us not say now all of a sudden it has become an issue-based thing. We have forgotten about issues. The issues have been there. Nobody has been taking care of it. We've been speaking about it for the last 2.5 years. We're getting into the to the third one. Almost election period, nothing. Anytime you talk about the problems, they kill you. They look for your children. They slaughter. They look for you. They abduct you. The people who are crying for us now try to, put the weight on so that you can say, you must listen to us, are the same ones you're going for. Come on.
Okay.
I mean, it's quite clear. I rarely take sides on such a discussion. But something must give. This by-election cannot be issue-based. Why? You don't expect this government to tackle those issues.
Exactly.
I'll be clear. You don't expect. So it cannot be issue-based.
It can't.
We cannot talk about issues with the same government which killed the young people. We cannot talk about issues with the same government which overborrows, and the money they borrow is not utilized to sort the issue of the people. He said very clearly that Mbeere North is a semi-arid area. This government has had 3 years. How can you convince even my small brother, very, very young, that this government is going to sort these issues in the next 2 years? The people are trying to save the soul of their democracy.
Thank you, yes.
That's what we're doing.
Freedom of choice.
Right?
Let us pick whoever we want, we believe they can deliver for us, because you've not been listening.
That's what the people are fighting for, to free themselves from the chains of abductions, to free themselves from the chains of assassinations, people disappearing, no one knowing where the people disappear to. So I think the people on the ground can no longer. It is the government which is trying to make this about themselves. But the people have never been confused.
No.
The people have known what they want. In Mbeere, they need water. They have a whole CS there. A whole CS who should be serving the nation. Right now, he should be deep down in Siaya, working for the people. But what is he doing? He's busy drinking tea and mandazi in Mbeere. Quite unfortunate. We find ourselves in very unfamiliar ground. Our democracy has never been this shallow before. Never been. And I think we must rise above the test of our time. And give the people the chance to choose who they want. Let's not see a whole CS there. What is he doing? If not,
but Peter, you did not give me your opinion of CS Ruku moving from polling station to polling station. Do you think it's justifiable? Do you think he's okay being there?
Even as you look at the issues that are pertinent there, and I still maintain my opinion that you wouldn't want to have senior government officials roaming around a constituency with by-elections. But nonetheless, the basis under which we get by-elections in this country are not unlike we have seen now. Initially, we used to do by-elections because an MP has passed, or the courts have nullified elections. Those are the major two things that we have done by-elections there before. Then come forward to the new constitutions where we have now given people who are duly elected by the people positions in government, and they live so that they allow, yes, they allow the people to now make another choice. And therefore, it is also logical that he is the outgoing, not even the former. He is the outgoing member of parliament, if the Queen's language is anything to go by. And basically, you would want to drum support for somebody who is going to do what you do. But now, the biggest problem, and I think on that one, I would say the cabinet secretary must have erred, is you are not just your normal person anymore. You're not just your normal person. When people see you, they see government. When people see you, they see a leader of a government. And therefore, you are about to, elicit mixed feeling. There are those, obviously, who will probably applaud you. There are those who will probably not be happy with you. So I would still insist that the moment you have by-elections, both high-level government officials and leaders of other parties that you're competing with, it is not advisable for them to be on the ground, because one way or the other, it is going to elicit what is called mixed feeling. You will have accusations that, however, would have been avoided coming together. If you look at your WhatsApp, there is accusations of all manner of kinds going over. There is even people now retracting and getting videos of elections of as old as 2007 to elicit mixed feeling. Nonetheless, I think of importance is that the people who are voting today, I have not had an issue where a voter has been blocked from voting, unless you can tell me there was one. We have not had a voter who has been turned away and told you will not vote. And therefore, when we talk about the exercising your democratic right as a voter they have, what is the biggest issue here is the processes of how we get there to the voters. Did we have a voter or someone campaigning get a fair opportunity to campaign and sell his agenda to the people? Did we have a very fair process of picking what we call the election management strategies and teams, from who are the presiding officers, who are the returning officers, who are the security apparatus? And therefore, it is not, when I hear my brother and my sister talking about people being stopped from exercising their democratic right, unless they can able tell us that we have a particular voter who wanted to vote and has been refused. We may differ in terms of how the processes has been handled, but the ultimate process at the end of the day, it is a voter being allowed to go and cast his choice, his ballot on whichever choice they do. Right. We have not witnessed that a voter was told or was blocked from accessing. In fact, the only blocked access we are seeing are people who are not basically, of course, Roko is a voter in Mbeere North by the basic fact that he was a member of parliament. And as a matter of fact, he votes in one of the polling stations. He
voted in the morning already.
In the morning.
So what was he doing at Kanyagoro now again a second time?
For that particular thing, I think he carries his own cross, because if you vote as a voter, as much as he was a cabinet minister, he's a voter and he voted, then it will sound alarming when you see him going to other polling stations where he's a voter. There is a reason why the election process provides that you have agents and people to represent you in the polling station. Right. So therefore, let us, when we are speaking about democracy, what is democracy is not just talking about who has been blocked, who has been allowed to get. Democracy is Are the voters in Magarini, are the voters in Kapsil, are the voters in Marava and Bere or other places in Kariobangi North, have they been given the right to access the polling station? When they get there, are they allowed to follow the due process? Because we want to castigate the entire process as to be evil, just because you are coming from a particular side of political thinking. But the question is, tell us which polling station has been blocked, which voter register is missing, which agent has been caught cheating. Because these are the basic principles of an election.
All right, Mushendi, thank you. Okay,
other than the side shows we see on the road.
I think for the first time, I would like to quote Raila Amolo Odinga. He once said that an election is not just people casting their votes. An election is about the process being respected by everybody. I think the discussion is not around the people voting. The discussion is around, it's 4 p.m. What is the CS doing there? I mean, you know what happens at past 5 p.m. I think we are Kenyans. And I think it's our...
Why didn't he just go home after voting in the morning? That's the question. That's the question, Peter.
What was
I know you're looking at me with the
what
bad
was
eyes.
Justin Muturi doing in Siakago?
In the
No, no, no. He is not a voter there.
He is not a state
He
agent.
is not. And I'm asking, he is not a
He's a
state
former
agent.
state agent, though. We can't ignore that.
He's not a state agent. He's not a voter there. He's not an agent, a bona fide IEBC credited agent. And he is in a group of 20 people. The radio speaking there is not from Bele. The radio speaking there is from Moranga. So therefore, if you are talking about what people are doing in what CS Roko was doing in a polling station where he does not vote, what was Justin Muturi doing there? He was not. No, Muturi is not an agent.
Don't make a right. Can we agree on that?
If you are condemning people, be brand, condemn everybody. Don't take high road.
Okay, I catch.
If we turn this studio to be a market, you can imagine what the people...
No. I think, my brother, you may have to withdraw that because that would be casting aspersions for everybody. It is not a market. We just simply said, if you are castigating Roko for being in a police station where he was not supposed to do, with equal measures and equal votes and volume, castigate what Justin Muturi was doing.
I think
in the spirit of bringing order, this is my set, kindly. In the spirit of bringing order to the set, Akech, yes, please.
And please, you may protect me when I'm responding.
Now protect all of you. Protect K24. Let's hear what you guys hear.
Much better.
You know, one wrong does not justify the other. You rightfully said it. We are not saying that JB Muturi being there is right. But we are saying that CS Ruku being there is wrong. Both of them.
So it's not either or?
No.
Both of them. And it's sad if we...
Thank you.
It's sad if we take sides. Because if we take sides, then there is no business of us being here. We are not helping our democracy if we take sides. As we said, these by-elections are a precursor to the general elections we are going to have. So if J. Muturi is wrong, wrong. If CS Rook is wrong, we must be allowed to say he's wrong, right? And nobody should, you know, if it's a wrong, it is a wrong. Both of them should not be there. The people of Mbere, and you see, it's quite crazy we've talked about Mbere for the past half an hour. I think we should look at the people of Magarini, Banisa, what they are doing. Let the people have their voice. Let their vote count. Anybody in the stature of a state employee being on ground right now, I would like to say it in this studio. They are planning to steal the votes. I can tell you for sure. They have no any other businesses being there. They must leave immediately, and if IBC cannot do the work, then the men in uniform must do their work. If they cannot do their work, then the language of the people must do their work.
All right, thank you very much. So in that context, then it could be either or. The planning of stealing of votes is not inclined to one particular side. I think we can agree on that. It's just alleged. There's no evidence for that. But Sophie, let me come to you. Let us indulge briefly. All right, let's indulge the whole political rivalry that is moving around this member of the National Assembly seat, especially those 4 constituencies of Malava, Kasipul, Magarini, and Mbeere North. So let's just indulge. From Mbeere North, there's a colloquial saying that it is a battle between the former deputy president and the current deputy president. For Malava, there's a colloquial saying that it's the government against the opposition via Seth Panyako. And then also Kasipul at the same time is a fight between ODM and an independent candidate, Philip Aroko. Not that that is how it's supposed to be, but I want us to indulge for just 1 minute. With this being said, if the ruling party right now, the coalition that is Kenya Kwanza, loses or underperforms in these by-elections, what message is Kenya sending ahead of the 2027 general elections?
The message Kenyans will be sending out to Kenyans is pretty simple, Fatma, that they are totally disappointed of the government so far. They are not satisfied because maybe their needs have not been met. That is what they'll be sending, because for this 6th member of parliament seat that is being contested at, the battles around it is about it's a mix of different things. Example, we are very ethnical. Let us not forget that, and we cannot hide away from that. And regional blocks also plays a major role when it comes to such elections of, constituencies. And this is why we keep emphasizing that much as we are testing the waters for this particular IEBC commissioners, we'd want to see how they uphold the democracy of the people, the will of the people, which is enshrined in our constitution. I would want to speak about, let's say again, I'm sure there's someone who would not want to hear this, but the broader opposition, this is how we do it. And I think it has worked well for us. An example is where we have many candidates vying for the same seats in a particular constituency from different political parties under our umbrella. We sit down, we discuss, and where there is no agreement, because people would feel that you are denying me a right or my people a right to be heard. And a good example is Kisii. We had a similar incident whereby we had, I think, 4 different parties. There was Jubilee, there is UPA, there is ODM, there's quite a number of those political parties. And when we tried the consensus way so that we narrow it down to one person, it doesn't matter which political party you are running at, we see who has the numbers more than the other. That issue came about where we say, no, you can't bump me off because I also have a following. So we respect the fact that it doesn't matter whether you have 2 people following you. They also have a right to be heard, or to be given that chance also to, get the opportunity. So what did we decide? They all go through to the ballot. Whoever wins, wins. And that is the Kenya we want to build, where there is no suppression, whereby there is no fight when you seem like you're losing, and because you are the one having the instruments of power, you use that muscle to suppress others. It doesn't work that way. And it has worked perfectly, even in Malava. Malava, sorry. There was a DCP candidate there. We had to bring him down so that DAP can come up. So is it something that can be done, which is rocket science for a few who are the political elite trying to spout this madness? I'll tell them it is doable if we just allow democracy to take center stage.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Sophie Debire. Yes, that is Sophie Debire, also in stage. I'm in my studio here. Actually, I have Vincent Akech as well as Peter Mushendu. I want us to take a short break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we have more of this analysis to go on.
TV, our shared experience.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
The family meets for AFCON 2025. To book your seat, dial *423# to get or stay connected to DSTV access for only 1,450 Kenya shillings or GoTV value for just 599 Kenya shillings. Live on Supersport.
True understanding requires more than a headline. The People Daily app delivers our trusted in-depth journalism directly to you. Get comprehensive reporting, insightful political analyses and special features optimized for your life on the go. Get the stories that deserve your attention wherever you are. The People Daily app. News that moves with you.
Get Africa's best entertainment anytime, anywhere, and now for even less.
Here's what we're here for, duh.
With DSTV Stream and Safaricom Home Fiber.
Wow.
Just dial *400#, then 0 to choose this DSTV offer. Select your Safaricom Home Fiber account and the DSTV Stream package you want, now at a discounted price. Then select your home fiber plan, confirm payment, pay using your M-Pesa PIN, and click on the link received to sign in to your new DSTV Stream account.
Simple.
Then enjoy the best movies, series, and sport in Africa at its best price ever. Only with DSTV Stream and Safaricom Home Fiber. T's and C's apply.
Why wait for fun? K24.digital brings you 24/7 entertainment. From the pitch to the playlist, from celebrity gossip to the memes you love. We're not just news, we're your non-stop ticket to everything cool and trending. So get in the know. K24.digital. Follow the buzz 247.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
The family meets for AFCON 2025. To book your seat, dial *423# to get or stay connected to DSTV access for only 1,450 Kenya shillings or GoTV value for just 599 Kenya shillings. Live on Supersport.
Sour glycerin makes me feel like a star.
Before the chaos starts, she claims this moment. No rush, no makeup, just sour soft glycerin. Hydration that shows up before she has to.
Nice, make it fly. Nice. Hang on.
Sour cocoa butter makes me feel like
Her tools change, her pace doesn't. Sour rich cocoa butter, thick, smooth, never in the way. The world moves fast. 254 moves faster. But this stays.
sour smooth, sour fresh.
Sour lotion. Furahia your skin ritual every day.
Nico fine, Nico best.
Huyu ni Brayo. Hii Krisi, Brayo anadai tu furaha. Akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate. Akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja. Furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial *423# to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
Desire that burns, secrets that twist, and love that conquers all. K24TV brings you the best in drama and romance straight to your living room. Emotions come alive on K24TV, our shared experience.
Don't you just love a fun gathering?
Hi, Ruth. Hi, Sarah. The chance to reconnect with your people, your passions, and the stories that bring joy to your home. From epic sports to the hottest local series and the best kids entertainment, DSTV makes wherever you are the best plan for the holidays.
This festive season, get your DSTV decoder for only 850 Kenya shillings today.
K24TV, our shared experience. K24TV, our shared experience.
Well, thank you very much. We are back on air. Peter Mushendu. It's quite heated here. It's by-elections, of course, so everybody's atmosphere. The atmosphere here is like everyone else is out there. But thank you very much for staying with us here on K24 as we give you live coverage of the by-elections from the 15 member of County Assembly seats positioned to the 6 member of National Assembly seats to the 1 senatorial seat. And we've been following it since morning, from the time they opened their polling stations at 6 in the morning, and it's now 4 p.m. The turnout has been low, relatively low throughout the day, at about 40%, but we are expecting that more people are going to show up now that, you know, office hours are almost ending. Remember, it is a working day today. Now, in studio today to help me analyze also and assist me in just making sense of what is happening is Sophie Debire, Vincent Akech, and Peter Mushendu. But before we get back to our analysis, I would like for us to travel back to Magarini in Kilifi County, where we have our correspondent, Boniface Msangi. Boniface Msangi earlier on did try to get a word out of Kadamawehu, but he was very agitated. Let's see if perhaps he's gotten a word right now or he has something else. Boniface Msangi, if you can hear me, the floor is yours.
Na mshuka sana, basi niko katika shule ya Mapimo Girls, ambayo ni shule ya wasichana Mapimo Girls wadi ya Gongoni, ambapo tayari basi zoezi la kupiga kura linaendelea, japo kwa mwendo wa kobe, ambapo wale wapiga kura hawajajitokeza kwa wingi. Hivyo basi ikizingatiwa kwamba basi tumesalia tu kama jisaji moja hivi ya zoezi zima la kuweza kupiga kura liweze kutamatika, lakini idadi ya watu ni kidogo sana. Iwapo mpiga picha yangu waweza kuonyesha tu, hili ndio sanduku la kuweza kupiga kura, lakini ukilitazama tu kiundani, kwa sababu lipo tu na rangi ambayo inaonyesha paka ndani, kwa kimombo wanasema transparent. Mle ndani takriban kama kura hivi 200 hivi 110 ndio zinaweza kuwa ziko pale ndani, ambapo ni kura kuhesabiwa kwake huenda ukachukua takriban kama dakika 20 ama 10 tu kuweza kumaliza kuhesabu kura hizo. Lakini tumeweza kuongea na baadhi ya wakazi wakituambia pengine ni sababu gani ambayo imeweza kuwafanya wao wakiwa kukosa kuweza kufika kwa wingi katika chaguzi hii ndogo ambayo inaendelea hapa. Wengine wanatuambia ni masuala ya kazi, wengine kilimo, wengine wakisema hawajafahamu ya kutosha sababu inawapelekea kuweza kuchagua viongozi, kwa sababu wamechagua viongozi na pia vile vile hawajawajibikia matatizo yao. Hivyo basi ni changamoto iliyopo kwa sasa, na maeneo mbalimbali pia tumeweza kutembea tukaweza kushuhudia heka katika kati ya baadhi ya wagombea ya waniaji na pia vile vile wale maajenti wanaojitokeza kuweza kuhakikisha basi wanaweza kutetea ama kuweza kulinda kura za wale viongozi wao ambao wanaweza kuwatakia ushindi. Na pia vile tumeweza kutembea maeneo ya Kwandoro Trading Center na maeneo mengine mbalimbali, Garashi Primary, ambapo pale Garashi Primary pia tumeweza kushuhudia mzozo kati ya yule mgombea wa wa DNA ambaye ni Kalamawehu, kwa jina lingine ni Furaha Chengo, akiweza kugombana basi na yule mbunge wa Ganze pale, akiweza kuvurutana, lakini maafisa wa polisi waliweza kuingilia kati na kuweza kutatua mzozo huo basi, na kuweza kuwaelekeza kila mtu kuweza kuendelea na shughuli zake za kuweza kuhakikisha uchaguzi unafanyika kwa hali ya amani. Ni uchaguzi ambao umeweza kushuhudia joto kiasi la kisiasa, kila upande ukiweza kuvutia upande wake, lakini ya msingi ni kwamba hadi kufikia sasa hatujashuhudia maafa au mtu yote kupigwa risasi. Ni joto tu likuweza kupanda, kusukumana, kupigana kiasi na pia vile kuweza kuachana. Lakini yote tisa, maafisa wa polisi wakiongezwa na kamanda mkuu wa polisi ukanda wa Pwani Ali Nuno ameweza kuhakikishia wapiga kura basi kwa huu muda ambao umebakia takriban jisaji moja waweze kujitokeza kwa wingi, watekeleze wajibu wao kupiga kura, na akaweza pia vile vile kuwasihi katika maeneo yale ambayo ni maeneo makuu ya kuweza kuhesabu kura hizo basi kuambia wananchi waweze kujitenga na eneo lile basi, kwa sababu ni eneo ambalo litakuwa na usalama wa hali ya juu, ili kuweza kuhakikisha kura zitakapofikishwa pale basi zitakuwa kura ambazo zimehesabiwa katika vituo na kufikishwa pale kuweza kuthibitishwa ili mshindi aweze kupatikana. Na sehemu hii basi ya eneo bunge hili la Magarini ni eneo bunge moja kubwa sana. Hivyo basi mtu iwapo masanduku haya basi yanatoka sehemu, kwa mfano kituo kama kile cha Garashi hadi kufikia maeneo ya kule ya Mapimo, ambapo ndio Mapimo Vocational Training Institute ama taasisi ya Mapimo ni mbali. Hivyo basi kura endapo zitamaliziwa kule kwa sababu kama mwendo wa saa 4 hivi ama saa 5 usiku, huenda tazikafika huku mwendo kama wa saa 7 usiku, saa 8. Hivyo basi zoezi zima la kuweza kutangaza yule mshindi huenda likachukua muda. Tuliweza kulikisia kama huenda likakamilika kama mwendo pale wa saa 2 saa 3, lakini umbali wa maeneo ya kupiga kura huenda kusababisha yule kiongozi atakayechaguliwa kutangazwa kuchelewa, na pia vile vile basi wale ambao wananchi wapo watatumia muda huu kujitokeza kwa wingi na kuweza kujaza pengo lililopo na kujaza masanduku haya basi kura zao, huenda pia vile vile wakachangia pia muda wa kuhesabu kura ukawa mrefu zaidi. Kwa hiyo tisa hadi kufikia sasa idadi ya wapiga kura iliyojitokeza ni ndogo sana, japo usalama umeweza kuzingatiwa na hali ya utulivu. Unapo mpiga picha wangu aweza kuonyesha tu hawa ni baadhi ya makarani tu, wamekaa, wametulia, wamebarizi, wanasubiri wapiga kura waweze kufika, lakini hawajafika. Hivyo basi kila mtu yuko na simu yake taratibu pale, yule wa kuangalia WhatsApp yuko WhatsApp, yule wa kuangalia TikTok yuko TikTok, na pia vile vile kuweza kuhakikisha basi wanafuatilia uchaguzi kutoka sehemu mbalimbali na unazo chaguzi ndogo katika sehemu mbalimbali ya taifa la Kenya zinavyoendelea. Yote tisa basi tutazidi kutembea vituo mbalimbali, ikiwemo kile kituo basi cha pale Mapimo Primary School kuweza kujua hali itakuwaje, kwa sababu hapo basi ndipo tutakapo hakikisha basi tunafika pale kwa wakati kushuhudia vituo ama muda wa kufunga kupiga kura katika sehemu ile, ili baadaye tuweze kuingia katika katika sehemu ile ya Mapimo, taasisi ya Mapimo, kuweza kushuhudia kura zitakavyokuwa zinamiminika katika maeneo yale kupitia basi yule msimamizi mkuu wa hali hii ya uchaguzi katika eneo hili Magarini ambaye ni Joseph Mwafundo. Yeye tutakuwa tunaongea moja kwa moja na yeye mwendo wa saa 1 kuweza kutuambia pengine hali halisi imekuaje, na pia vile vile wao wanazungumzia vipi uchaguzi huu ambao kwa sasa wengi wa wakazi hawajajitokeza. Kutoka basi eneo hili la Mapimo ama shule hii ya Mapimo, shule hii ya wasichana ya Mapimo hapa katika hii wadi ya Gongoni, sina mengi ila tu kuregesha kwako studio na kukusihi kuzidi kuwa nami basi mwendo wa saa 11 kamili, sote tukiweza kushuhudia vituo vikianza kufungwa, na mwendo wa saa 1 na saa 3 katika taarifa zetu zitakazofuata. Kwako studio.
All right, thank you very much. That is Boniface Nsange talking to us live from Magarini in Kilifi County, where he has been monitoring the votes and how people are voting from morning of 6 a.m. until now. At around 2 hours ago, we did also get to interact with him, and at that particular moment, he was trying to get a word from one of the candidates, Kalamawehu, also known as Furaha Chengo, sorry. But unfortunately, he didn't manage to get anything. Also, earlier on, he tried to get a word from the deputy party leader of ODM, who is the current governor of Mombasa, Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir. But also, again, he didn't get anything. And right now, he's telling us that the turnout is still very, very slow, approximating about 5 to 7 minutes before you see somebody coming in to vote. And this turnout has been like that from 2 p.m. up until now, with the hopes that the people will actually show up more now, because many people are actually leaving work. Remember, today is a working day and it was not marked as a national holiday. So we're expecting a voter turnout to go higher up. Now, let us move from Magarini and go to our other correspondent who is in Malava, and that is Timothy Simwa. Timothy Simwa, if you're ready, take us through. What is the turnout like right now at Malava? Simwa, can you hear me? What is happening in Malava, Simwa?
Well, Fatma, we continue to update our viewers on the events happening within Malava constituency, and almost 45 minutes from now, all the 198 polling stations, or rather polling centers, within Malava constituency will be officially closing the by-election exercise that picked up today at 6 a.m. It has been quite an eventful day within the constituency, ranging from all the way from Manda Shivanga ward to West Kabras, to the other far end of the constituency. But what we have lately, of course, is a press conference that has been given by one Onesimus Kiada. This is the county commissioner for Kakamega County, and he has fundamentally spoken to three specific issues as far as issues of security within Malava constituency are concerned. One, Onesimus has denied that police have been involved in any form of irregularity, or rather playing partisan roles within the constituency, as some other quarters, especially those from DAP Kenya, had alleged. We asked him specifically on the incident that happened at Downhill Hotel, somewhere in Kaborengu. This is within Manda Shivanga ward, where DAP candidate Seth Panyako comes from, and of course violence was reported in that place yesterday at night. Some people were injured, some have been admitted at Webuye Hospital, and of course this has been authoritatively confirmed by the media. Panyako, accompanied by party leader Eugene Wamalwa, visited those who were actually injured, and said that hired goons, people they call hired goons, were the ones who orchestrated this violence yesterday against the team of DAP Kenya. He has been an emotional man, Seth Panyako, at one point storming Malava police station to express his frustrations and saying that police have not been fair in the way they've been dealing with candidates in these by-election. From some of his sentiments, Panyako sounded like a man who had completely given up on the legitimacy and the transparency of the process. And we asked the county commissioner whether he was aware of this, and he said that when Panyako reported to the police station, he did not actually come to report, but rather insulted police officers who were manning that station, and they kept at bay. They didn't move in to arrest him, as it was earlier alleged. And after making his frustrations known, he walked away. But one thing has also come out prominently, Fatma, in the way DAP and the opposition, coalition has been conducting themselves within Malava constituency. And like during the campaigns, when we saw them coming together in solidarity, a number of key figures, rather political leaders within Kakamega and beyond, those who are allied to the DAP party, have been missing. Most importantly is George Natembeya, that is the governor for Trans Nzoia, also the deputy party leader for DAP Kenya. The county commissioner has said that they have no information on whether Natembeya has been arrested, as it was alleged earlier, and saying that being a national leader, a county governor, if any form of arrest was made within Kakamega County, obviously his office would have known. So he has denied that Governor Natembeya has not been arrested. He's not anywhere within the police station within Kakamega County, also saying that his jurisdiction as the governor does not extend to Kakamega County, and his office had no any information regarding his arrest. There's also information, and of course pictures have been circulating on social media, of one of the vehicles that was banned. Information has been conflicting, sort of. One camp alleging that the vehicle belongs to Lugari Member of Parliament, Nabii Namwera, while there was also other information that was saying this vehicle belongs to Eugene Wamalwa, DAP party leader. The county commissioner still says that they have no information. They don't know who owns that vehicle, and reports have not been made officially regarding on the events that happened somewhere in Emanyonje within Manda Shivanga ward where Seth Panyako comes from. So he says all the mayhem that was witnessed within the upper part of Malava constituency that consists of Butali Chegulo, Manda Shivanga, and partly East Kabras have not been reported to any police station, and also affirming that the exercise has been largely peaceful, at least according to his own assessment, unlike what we have seen, you know, some parties and leaders, especially Seth Panyako, coming out to, you know, cry and pointing fingers on figures. He says the intention is to make sure that they rig the process and rig the election eventually in favor of a candidate favored by the national government. We continue to wait and see what will be happening. And also, like I mentioned, that apart from Natembea, who has not been seen anywhere within Malava constituency just to support their candidates, Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale, another key figure during the campaigns of Seth Panyako, has not been seen anywhere within Malava. Again, we haven't been able to trust him. He has not come out to, you know, speak about the process, but we understand yesterday and days following to today rather, he said that his security has been withdrawn, and this, in his own assessment, was a way just to intimidate members of the opposition and to keep their, you know, supporters away from polling stations to cast their vote to the choice, rather the party of their choice and candidate of their choice. Another key figure is, of course, former senator for Kakamega and DCP deputy party leader, whom we know that he has been aligned to the opposition coalition, Cleophas Malala. He's a very glamorous figure when it comes to campaign issues and especially agitating for the DAP Kenya candidate, but still we have not seen him anywhere during, or rather in the course of the day. The day is urging, like I said, in a few minutes from now, everyone else who has been involved in this by-election within Malava constituency will be converging at Malava Boys High School, not very far from now, rather from here, just to follow up to the final process that includes, of course, submitting all the results from 198 polling stations within Malava constituency, and then those results will be tabulated to arrive at the final winner among the 6 candidates who are seeking to become a member of parliament, or rather represent the people of Malava at the National Assembly. So a lot at stake. That's those who have said this is a litmus test for the government of the day and the opposition going into 2027. Of course, but the ultimate will be known probably before the fall of midnight today, when all these results will be, of course, counted, and IEBC, the constituency returning officer, announcing the winner. Voter apathy is another issue that also come out, but we'll be waiting to see what a percentage of the 94,417 voters registered within Malava constituency will have cast their vote by the closure of this exercise by 5 p.m. And Fatma, we promise our viewers that we'll be right here to make sure that they get to know every detail, every single detail as far as the by-election in Malava constituency is concerned. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Simwa. That was actually a very detailed information on what's happening in Malava constituency. And yes, thank you very much for being there on standby as you keep updating us on what is happening. The one thing that cuts across from Magarini to Malava is that the voter turnout is still quite low. Now, thank you very much again for staying with us here on K24 Studios. We are covering the by-elections live here today, and in studio I am joined by my very abled and smart guests. That is to my immediate right is Sophie Dibira, who is a political analyst, and then Vincent Akech, who is also a political analyst, and I'm also joined by Peter Mushendu. Peter Mushendu is also a governance expert. Now, I will start with you, Sophie Dibira. I think we've had enough of a break. We should have our energy back right now, and let's just take a moment to reflect on what Timothy Simwa just explained to us in regard to Malava constituency and what has happened throughout the day. Now, in the morning, one of the aspirants, one of the candidates, Seth Panyako, was actually reported on our media stations saying that last night at around hours of 1 a.m. he was attacked and his cars were vandalized. Shortly after, his party leader, that is Eugene Wamalwa, also filed a same concern, saying that he as well was also attacked. Now, Timothy Seymour explains to us that Seth Manyako actually took it a step further and went to the police station to report, but states that the police has not done anything about it, saying that the police are biased. Now, I want us to look at it from two angles, and one, which we'll come to it later, is, say any of these leaders, any of these aspirants lose, if they're already being so aggravated over results that have not come out, say they lose, how are they going to take it? But before we get to that, Sophie Debire, what do you make out of all this?
They say old habits die hard. This is not new, what we are seeing. And as far as human life is concerned, we live by hope that tomorrow will be a better day. And that is what we've been praying for and hoping for these particular by-elections, which is very significant at this particular time in our country when things are not so good. What has happened, what has been happening in Malava and other places which are similar is very unfortunate incidences. The machinery the government has being misused, misuse of power through intimidation, which has always been center stage when it comes to, you know, driving or achieving whatever ills or goals they want to, which is either, number one, it could be suppressing the voter turnout, which is evident. You can see the voter turnout is very low. Because when you do such to an aspirant who has dedicated themselves and has been working around the clock doing their campaigns to at least, you know, people expect fairness in this kind of a game. And when it's one-sided, it can be frustrating. And to your question, how they will take it, should they lose? We are all human beings, Fatima. Nobody wants to lose. It's painful. We've been there. I ran for elections in 2022. The most important thing to do at this particular time, or when you decide to throw yourself into the ring, is that go with an open mind. Should you lose, you're good. You win, you're so good. So it depends on an individual on how prepared they are emotionally getting into this so that they don't lose their heads. But at this time, we are in the 21st century. We are dealing with different demographics. We expected top-notch processes of elections. So we're still hopeful that whatever it is that comes as outcome would be credible. That's our, and that there will be no foul play in terms of subverting the people's will, so that we can move as a country, because this is what has been ailing us for a very long time. It would be good to, you know, rise above that and call ourselves to, you know, a table and say, yes, we did it. And this is how we are going to be doing it going forward. So it's a wait and see.
All right.
And hoping that things goes well.
All right, all right. Thank you very much. Akechi, let me jump to you. And I just want us to look at everything that has happened from morning until now. And the key point here being every altercation, every form of violence, whether little or small, that we've witnessed from morning has not really been about the people. It hasn't. Let's just call a spade a spade. The people have not come out to fight for someone. It's heads at loggerheads. It's parties at loggerheads. This is a by-elections. These are 6 constituencies. We have 47 counties in Kenya. These are just 6. And this is what we've gone through since morning. What kind of precedence does this set for a general election come 2027?
I mean, it's clear. Our neighbors might have started laughing at us. We must not place ourselves in a position whereby our neighbors have found themselves recently. We need to really rise beyond that. I think this kind of violence that we've seen today, we should leave it to the unfortunate 2007. We as a people, even as even our leaders, they must not be seen as inciting their people against the other group of people. I think we should know that there is life beyond today. We need to wake up tomorrow. If you have an M-Pesa shop, you need to go and open up that shop and serve the Kenyans, irrespective of which party they vote for today. We need to keep our house, our country together as one people, because 2027 is not far. We have very few months to go. And if we continue to see this kind of, and I think it's a precedent that is being set by the leaders who are there, right? If we see one leader shot with blood stains, it doesn't send a good picture to the whole country. Yeah. So even as leaders, we must call ourselves back to order and realize that the elections come and go.
All right.
But the people and the country Kenya needs to live beyond today. So this is a challenge to them. And as I said before, just one more thing I'd like to say is the low voter turnout at 4 p.m. very scary to our democracy. It shows a lot of things. Either the people have lost hope in the government or the people have lost hope in the IEBC itself, that they know how we've always spoken before, that my vote won't count.
Yes.
Right? But I think we need to extend that a little bit now and say that my vote will count if I protect my vote.
Right.
So I would like to urge the men in uniform, guided as he said, that they are under the IEBC. I think past 4:30, they need to use lesser force, both
so
the police to the people and even the people to the other people. We need to be accommodative enough and allow everybody, to exercise their right to cast their vote.
Okay, so let's take a breather from the member of National Assembly seats, and let's look at the senatorial seat in Baringo County. And we do have our correspondent who is on ground, Koitek, and Koitek will give us a brief on the update of what is happening in Baringo County. Baringo is the only county that is vying for a senatorial seat, but we haven't heard much about it throughout the day. It's basically been peaceful. So let's hear from you, Koitek, if you're ready.
Yes, good evening from Baringo County. The moment we are at the tallying center for Baringo South constituency, and it's just about 30 minutes before the closing of the polling stations. And since morning, we've traveled across Baringo County and witnessed a very low turnout. Voters in Baringo County coming out in very low numbers to come and vote. That is what we've witnessed since the opening of the polling stations in the morning, all the way at the county headquarters in Kabarnet, in Baringo South, and all the other constituencies. And as it now, we expected that the voters would come out later in the afternoon to come and vote. But as we're speaking right now, about some few minutes before the closing of the polling station, is that we're still seeing a very low turnout in the number of people coming out to vote in the senatorial by-election here in Baringo County. And just around here in Marigat, in the polling stations around Baringo South, about 3 polling stations, according to the presiding officers that I had spoken to them earlier, is that it's about only 10% of the total voters who've come out since morning, since the opening of the voting, who've come out to cast their votes. And they were hoping that more of them would come, but the number is still low. And with me here is the returning officer for Baringo South constituency. Welcome to K24. Maybe until this time when we just have some few minutes before we close the polling stations. Maybe how has the process been since morning and up to now?
The process has been smooth.
Yes.
We opened, majority of the polling stations we opened on time. We have not had any incident in security. We've been very smooth, and we've been doing well. All our polling stations opened, not all on time, but they opened. Maybe the latest, the one that opened much later is about 20-30 minutes, but we're okay. We had 172 polling stations, 163 polling centers. Yes.
How has the turnout of the voters been here in Baringo South?
Not good. Turnout is not good. Okay. I think by one, it was around 13-14%. The highest was about 17%. But we hope the remaining time will catch up to about maybe between 27-30%. Yes.
Okay. That is the returning officer here at for Baringo South constituency, notifying us that the turnout has really been low, but they are hoping that before the polling stations are closed, maybe the voters will still come and cast their votes. And we'll continue to keep our viewers updated. And from here, we'll head to the county headquarters in Kabarnet as we await for the closing of the polling station. And now we wait for the now streaming of the results across the different polling stations in Baringo County. This is the senatorial by-election which is taking place in Baringo County as Baringo County residents cast their vote to now choose their senators, with a total of 6 candidates who are on the ballot. From here, my name is Winnie Tuitoek. Back to you in studio.
Hey, thank you very much, Koitek, coming to us live from Baringo County, where we have the one senatorial seat that is being vied for after the passing away of the then Senator William Cheptumo early this year. Now, she does inform us that the voter turnout is extremely low, about only 10% of the registered voters, and Baringo has a registered voter of 280,000 people. Yet, we only witnessed about 10% of them coming out to vote for one reason or another. And that's why I have instead in studio here with me Sophie Dibira alongside Vincent Akech and Peter Mushendu, who just assists me to analyze and make sense of what is happening. Peter Mushendu, I would like to come to you in regards to this senatorial seat in Baringo County. Low voter turnout, very low. 10% is very, very low. I'm going to ask you this directly. Do you think the removal of himself, Gideon Moi, from that seat could have led to this low voter turnout?
I wouldn't want to say that is the same. I think I have witnessed another by-election in the county. Can't specifically remember it's where. Of course, the terrains of Baringo County capped with the fact that there is always a motivation when you have we have the candidate in the name of Gideon Moi in the ballot. And what do I say? Assuming Gideon Moi was in the ballot, you'll probably have seen a lot of resources being pumped into the by-elections, a lot of movement, because one of the major challenges in Baringo is movement of voters. Where are they coming from to go and vote? Hundreds of kilometers away. It's a by-election. They are like, I am just going to vote for a senator. I don't need to walk all that journey to go and vote. So I would say it is a classic textbook for Kenyan politics when it comes to by-elections. It is never about whether Kenyans are tired of government or not. It is about of whether Kenyans have gotten, as a Kenyan I will look at, have I gotten value for why I woke up and go and vote? So they look at it that way. And therefore, we have never been able to have Kenyans wake up to go and do by-elections. One, you'd understand today is not a holiday. By-elections don't invite, you know, a national general election is a holiday, so everybody gets an opportunity to go and cast their ballot. So this is not a holiday. it is a working day where Kenyans will wake up. Baringo is a 100% rural county where people have to wake up, go and do. Nonetheless, I would think that maybe the people of Baringo may not, you realize, may God rest his soul in peace, the senator has been sick for a very long time. He got sick almost immediately when he got elected. So maybe the people of Baringo will not have felt the need to go and vote. But bottom line is, and I was discussing behind the cameras here, that in a low voter turnout, because I need to take out this notion that has been put there that these things are happening so that people don't come and vote. For those who are data analysts, if you look at the by-elections, since I've looked at, since the by-elections in the early 2000s, any low voter turnout doesn't work for government, because government has to have numbers. Most of the people who go to vote when there is low voter turnout, they vote out of a certain resolve. And most of the time it is not based on how good they feel the government is. They go to vote under the resolve that they have not felt the impact of government probably where they live. And therefore, any low voter turnout does not work for government. If it is up to the government, they would probably rally every single registered voter in Baringo, because if you are talking about 2%, it means out of 10%, out of 280, only 28,000 voters in Baringo come to vote. And unfortunately, it also begs the question of legitimacy of the leader elected. Can you actually, with authority, say, well, we are not talking about the legitimacy in accordance with our constitution and our law statutes. We are talking about in the eyes of the people. If you have been elected as senator by 28,000, regardless of which side it goes, do you have the legitimacy to actually declare that you represent the interest of the entire county, which has 280,000 registered voters? So I'll probably say it was expected that amongst the low voter turnout, Baringo would be one of them. We are expecting probably another place to be in Kilifi. The low voter turnout will be in Kilifi. I will be surprised you. We have a very low turnout just next door here in Kariobangi North. In Kariobangi North, it was taking, you are talking about 5 minutes. I've seen it has been taking about 15 minutes.
Before you see someone? Before you see someone
coming to vote. Just here, not far, here. So that voter apathy is not something to be proud about as a country. It is not, because the moment you see members of the public not so confident in going to exercise their democratic right, it is not a good image that you're telling the people. But there's a question you asked about the pockets of violence we are witnessing in just 6 constituencies and one senatorial. I would not say that that would be the replication of 2027, because as I told you, Kenyans are political animals. Most of us start campaign immediately the next leader is sworn in, we start the campaign for next. And therefore, you will find that Mbere, you will find that Marava, you will find that Magarini, you will find that Kapsil. It is hosting so many foreigners, quote unquote, people who are not from those constituencies, because they have nothing else to do in their constituencies. They live off politics, they live off these campaigns. So they go where they feel there's campaigns. So therefore 2027, the entire nation, the entire corners of the country will have elections moving on. So you may not witness a lot of what you call migration, political migrations to other constituencies, because the violence or the pockets you are witnessing, as you have ably said, it is mostly people who have nothing to do with those constituencies. And therefore, in the general election, you would find most people are now contained. The MPs you see in these constituencies,
they have their own troubles,
busy defending their seats, and they will be busy. MPs you see there from whichever corner have walked into those constituencies with their people. That's why you see a lot of uproar. So I would not really say that would be the 2027, because everybody will be busy. It will be God for us all, everybody for himself in 2027. Okay, so
let's just stick right there, yeah? And I'll also give you a chance to also respond on the same, yeah? And by virtue of me comparing it to 2027, mainly I was focusing on all these allegations that a certain party is trying to buy elections, is trying to rig, a certain party has gone to the police station to claim that they've been attacked, they've been vandalized. And yes, as you rightly say, everybody will be busy with their own areas, but that doesn't stop people from rigging elections. If we're seeing it today, how then should we be sure we are not going to see it in 2027?
I think majorly, as you have said, and I keep repeating that, in the last previous elections, we have not had cases of the former things of ballot stuffing and what. But I will say, as the Supreme Court said in their ruling, when they were ruling on the presidential petition, that a process, the results are as credible as the process itself. And therefore, basically, we are not talking about, when we talk about rigging, people seem to think like we bring physical ballots. Rigging is not just bringing physical ballots. It is how do we get to pick the apparatus in an election from those people who are part and parcel of the election process. How did we arrive at that process of picking the IEBC? How did we incorporate the presiding officers, the returning officers? How is the security system being incorporated? Is it going to work for the people? And therefore, as you have every put in 2027, it is now on the IEBC. The eyes are on the IEBC. And as we have put here, the litmus test is, despite delivering the results, because I can assure you that we may not have an issue with the results, because votes are counted at a polling station and they are announced at a polling station. But we will have a very serious issues with the process. When it was reported that candidate A violated the right of candidate B, what did IEBC, what is the position, or what steps did IEBC take? Did they disqualify this candidate? Did they give this candidate? So majorly the biggest problem we are going to have in 2027 is not what you are seeing as the so-called violence, because with the by-election, you cannot ultimately measure the level of violence or lack of it, because these are very small units with by-election where everybody is hoovering all over. But in 2027, I think the onus will be at the IEBC to, number one, how you deal with, there has been a lot of complaint about how the candidates have handled themselves. But unfortunately so, most of these things have been shouted at the media. People, I have seen one media person being asked, have you reported this to the police? Because it starts there. Whether you perceive the police to be non-active or otherwise, for any complaint to take merit and to be merited as a complaint, it needs to follow protocol. It is to follow procedure. As you claim that the police doesn't work. A classic example is Seth Panyako. It is true, it is said the bodyguard was injured, and we have seen it on TV. He is actually injured in the police. But up to now, we do not have an official recorded statement on the matter. Up to now. I am saying that with authority, because up to now, everything, whether we perceive the police not to have done their work today, for IEBC to take actions, there has to be the steps that you need to take as the complainant. Did you officially, because today if you walk to a police station and complain, you get an OB and say, I complained, the police did not take action. So what I am saying is that even as we complain from whichever side, let us ensure that we use the right procedure as we actually point out to say the police did not, because it is true, we have had cases where police have not done their job.
Okay.
Let us follow the procedure so that we can also prosecute the police for not doing their job in the right way.
All right, thank you very much. Akechi, if I would just move to you briefly, and I want us to, you know, we're just about to wind up. We have very few minutes left, and I still want us to look at this low voter turnout. I want to reiterate a statement that Mushende said, a low voter turnout doesn't favor the government, that a low voter turnout is a mirror effect of how people feel about the current government. But unfortunately, if you would allow me to disagree, because even if you're tired of your current government, you not going to vote might also give a chance for that person that you're tired of to go through. So what are your thoughts on this?
We find ourselves in a very unique atmosphere right now, because Kenyans don't care who will be voted out. No, who will be voted in. They care about who will be voted out.
Thank you.
They don't, I think the country is not in the state. I think the country doesn't care anymore about who becomes the MCA, who becomes the MP, who becomes the senator, by and large.
Actually our problem.
Right now we have a bigger problem. And I think on this table we all, I'm really sorry. We all know whose the bigger problem is. All right? The people are waiting for 2027 to cast their vote for the head of state. I mean, I wouldn't fear to mention it here. I wouldn't really fear to mention it here on air.
Please feel free.
The people are waiting to vote for the head of state come 2027. That's why you might see very low voter turnout today. They are securing their IDs to vote in 2027. So in Baringo, there's not.
So you're saying it doesn't matter who comes in as long as people remove the person they want to remove?
You know,
how does that help the nation?
You know, the people don't want to vote for a member of parliament who will vote for a not people-centered finance bill come next year. All right? They've seen how this batch have behaved. They fear we are going to get 6 more people to parliament who would take us back to the street, who will be told go left, they go left, who will be told jump, and they ask how high, right? So the members of parliament, unfortunately, it's been such a disappointing parliament that we've had, and this has caused voter apathy. They are not excited anymore. They are not. Why should we waste time and go vote for an MP who will bring up bills in... I mean, you can tell me right now, how many of them are pro-people? How many of them? Very few of them. Very, very few. 1 or 2 or 3 of them who are pro-people. So the people fail. And this is the true state of people. I've spoken with them. They've told me that they no longer care about the MP at this stage, because they are told they are bribed. I mean, we've had claims that they are given some money behind the tents, they pass some weird bills, people die on the streets, they are still on the side of the government. Rules are brought about, social media, cybersecurity and stuff, they are still on the side of the government because they are being bribed.
Right.
They sleep in the State House. They go for money in the State House. So people are waiting. As much as these elections are important for our democracy right now, the people are saying that we are waiting to cast the vote in 2027 for the presidency. In Baringo is quite a very unfamiliar occasion happening there. I think, as he said, I think, and this is the only point I agree with him, that the Senator Gideon Moi dropping out of that race was the biggest injustice to the people of Baringo.
Baringo.
And they expressed it. They went to his home.
I wish you had more time, so to
they even
discuss
begged him.
that deeper.
You know,
yes.
They were disappointed. And up to today, only 10 in a polling station.
Only 10%.
10%.
For the whole county. This is a county senatorial seat.
You can imagine how that is. These people, I think, what the Senator Gideon Moi did is the biggest kind of injustice, one, to our democracy.
Betrayal.
Betrayal to the people of Baringo. I think the people of Baringo deserved something. Vincent is my namesake. But in this case, the people wanted someone else who they know. They
are familiar with.
They are familiar with.
Yes.
Senator Gideon Moi.
This is our person.
And I think the president, having such kind of I would expect him to spend time in State House discussing about our schools will be better funded, our hospitals will have better infrastructure. But telling someone to drop out of the race and they are not incapacitated, they are right in their mind, just for his party not to lose that election. Because I can tell you, if Senator Gideon Moi was running for that seat,
would probably have a bigger turnout.
Definitely.
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 All right.
And there's a larger chance the president would have lost that seat. But it would have looked...
But that was the strategy.
It would have looked like an egg on his face, losing in his own homeground turf, where he self-proclaimed to be a kingpin. That is harmful to our democracy. That is injustice to the people. We should not. I think I've never blamed Senator Gideon Moi, but for this one, he did injustice for the people.
Okay, so we just have about 4 minutes left before we come to the end of the session. Also, about 4 minutes before the polling stations also close. Sophie Dibira, for a few minutes before I also hand over to Peter Mushando to give us any final comments before we close. Your final comments.
My final comments.
Yes.
All I can tell my fellow Kenyans, brothers and sisters, that all is not lost. This was just a beginning, which really looked very optimistic for us, many of us who believe in change. And the momentum picking from what and how Kenyans have behaved so far, the way they have protected their votes is encouraging. At least that shows that there is hope going forward for Kenya. If we can only stand in solidarity and protect that is ours, rightfully ours, constitutionally, because there are ways to do it. After all, the people's power is sovereign. And this much I believe, and I have seen evidently today, that they are in consent with that. So congratulations, Kenyans. I think, like I say, all is not lost. I think we are headed the right direction. We keep doing, or we keep at it like the way we have done this time round. I think Kenya we will change this nation to be a better nation that we have envisioned for ourselves. Let me just touch a bit about the low voter turnout,
yes,
which is really, really disappointing, because it keeps, instead of improving, it keeps on going down and down. The erosion of the trust that Kenyan people have, especially for this government, is immense, and it has cut deep. There's a lot of wounds in Kenyans that if IEBC, the current commissioners, would prove to have upped their game, maybe there's hope. Upping their game in what we would want to see in terms of credibility of the processes that they are overseeing, because this is what they do. This is their mandate, to ensure that the processes are free, fair, and credible. They let us down because this is one institution.
We have about 1 minute,
okay.
And I also want Peter to speak, so let's wind up,
yeah.
please. Yeah.
The agency that we have as Kenyan people to see corrections made by this institution is really a pain. Right. So we hope for the best, that they do what needs to be done.
All right, thank you very much, Sophie Dibira. Peter, I will come to you for your final sentiments or your closing remarks, because we're just about to close the show. However, I need you to address something before we close. This low voter turnout, in as much as it shows low confidence in the government, it also similarly shows low confidence in the opposition. I want us to agree on that.
That much I agree, because even if you are disappointed by government,
then come out to vote for the person you
then
want.
It also means the opposition has not also inspired you to come and exercise your democratic right.
This lax attitude with Kenyans.
There's a problem we have had, and I've told you, is as old as the former constitution, where we have low voter
in just
turnout.
about 1 minute, please.
Yes. So I will probably say quickly, after all is said and done, in the next few stations will start crossing up, votes to be counted, and announced at the polling stations. So we would urge those people who are from where these by-elections are happening to be calm, to allow the processes to take their place, and if there need to be addressed, there is always the legal process of addressing this. But also allow me to applaud the people of Mbeere North and those of Kapsil, because there seem to be the biggest turnout of voters into those two constituencies who have really come out. Kapsil has Kasipul has put 36% and above. Mbeere, we may be the first by-elections to hit about 40%. So let us keep calm. Let us allow the processes to complete. If there needs to be addressed, something needs to be addressed legally, let's allow those processes. We don't need to fight each other, we are brothers.
All right, thank you very much. That was Peter Mushendu, and I also had Vincent Akech, and I also had Sophie Dibira in this afternoon session that we just did an analysis of the by-elections. It's 5 p.m. now, and the polling stations are about to close. So what is left now is the tallying of votes, and security at this particular point remains key focus, because now is when we are counting all the votes. Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. I have been your host, Fatma Chidagaya. Do have yourself a good evening, but don't go anywhere, because Gen Z Manifesto is coming up next.
K24TV, our shared experience. Love carried them through time, and betrayal tearing their lives apart, turning what's sweet to sour.
Nimekuja kudai haki yangu.
Lazizi Season 1, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. on Maisha Magic Plus, DSTV channel 163 and GoTV channel 3.
Asante kwa kunipigia simu. Simu yako nitaipokea kwa muda usiokuwa mrefu. Je, unajua kuwa wimbo wa taifa wa Kenya ulitokana na wimbo wa Kipokomo, mojawapo ya kabila za pwani nchini Kenya? Wimbo rasmi ulitungwa na Thomas Johnson Kalume.
Ili kuset asante kwa kunipigia kama skiza tune yako, dial star 811 star 622 hash.
Huyu ni Brayo. Hii Krisi, Brayo anadai tu furaha. Akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate. Akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial star 423 hash to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
Sour glycerin makes me feel like a star.
Before the chaos starts, she claims this moment. No rush, no makeup, just sour soft glycerin. Hydration that shows up before she has to.
Nice, make it fly. Nice. Hang on.
Her tools change, her pace doesn't. Sour rich cocoa butter, thick, smooth, never in the way. The world moves fast. 254 moves faster, but this stays.
Sour smooth, sour fresh.
Sour lotion for a hair your skin ritual every day.
Huyu ni Brayo. Hii Krisi, Brayo anadai tu furaha. Akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate. Akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial *423# to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
Desire that burns, secrets that twist, and love that conquers all. K24TV brings you the best in drama and romance straight to your living room. Emotions come alive on K24TV, our shared experience.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
The family meets for AFCON 2025. To book your seat, dial *423# to get or stay connected to DSTV access for only 1,450 Kenya shillings or GoTV value for just 599 Kenya shillings. Live on Supersport.
K24TV, our shared experience. K24TV, our shared experience.
All right, good morning once again. Thank you so much for staying with us here on K24 and Kameme TV as we continue with our continued coverage of the by-elections 2025, which we call it the first battle for 2027. Like we say, it is a precursor for exactly what will happen in 2027, especially for the IBC as a litmus test, issues to do with trust. And of course, the credibility of these elections are still coming up, but the process is not yet done. The democratic process of electing the representatives is actually happening at the moment. 1 hour in, members of the public are in different areas lining up to ensure that they cast their vote, and will be live until that last vote is counted. All right? Of course, we continue the conversation here. Sheila. Yes. Let me come back to the issue of the IBC because, it's quite heavy. And I just want to read a statement by the United Opposition, one of the United Opposition leader, that is Rigathi Gachagua, in regards to what is happening in Narok North. Of course, he said, it is upon you and your commission to get the trust of the people of Kenya. Your credibility is on the line ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Narok town violence ahead of the 27th November 2025 by-election is within your knowledge. And, 9 hours ago, he did post and say, I'm now without an iota of doubt persuaded that this regime has gone mad and has lost its moral compass, throwing caution to the wind. Heavily armed police officers and state-sponsored militia have stormed the home of our DCP candidate, Honorable Douglas Masikonde, in Narok town and violently attacked him and his agents who are undergoing training. It is now clear that the plans to stuff ballot papers are complete and our agents are being intimidated to subvert the sovereign will of the people. This is an attempt to deny the people of Narok Town their constitutional right to elect a candidate of their choice and to force the UDA candidate upon them. This particular statement, what message does it send to the larger public with, putting in context this particular election and the credibility of it?
I think it's difficult to sit on this set and assess whether or not what Rigathi Gachagua is saying is true or untrue. As you can imagine, there's a lot of interest in him, of course, anticipating that this will not be a fair process. It could be one or the other. So one, it could be that, there's something, for example, he says that his candidate there was legitimately attacked by security forces. I mean, if that is the case, then that is very, very unfortunate, because again, it goes back to add into this conversation that how do we trust that this process will be fair. Then there's the other part that you can anticipate that he would be saying this, just in anticipation that we suspect that anything could be happening. So he's just trying to give the list of possibilities. I think what I've always said from the beginning of the campaigns for the by-election is that, first of all, IEBC is independent. You need to underline, cross-check, highlight the word independent. And so it should operate independently of whatever else is going on. It is within the constitutional right that there are candidates who are aligned to the government, right? That is quite normal. They're supposed to run for these elections. However, I think what was also unfortunate is we should go back and check what the Constitution says about certain state agents involved directly in campaigns. There could be a bit of intimidation going on there when you have a whole government machinery coming up, and even people who are not supposed to be, civil servants who it's not very clear that the Constitution allows them to be campaigning, who are hard on the campaign trail. And things like that, when we are not really following what the law is supposed to be, it casts, even if there's nothing to worry about, it brings up this level of mistrust that you're expecting that there will be something wrong. So in fact, you're giving the opposition so much material to work with, even if it's going to be free and it's going to be fair. So I think there's a balance here. There's a balance of course, this is opposition. They want to anticipate and claim that it's going to be all hell and nothing, because they're preparing grounds for just in case this doesn't go our way. Then we will say, that there was something that was planned prior. But there's also the concept of the state. We have seen that the state is really overreaching. If you ask me, I'm seeing so many civil servants that I'm wondering, what does the Constitution say about you being this heavily involved in campaigns and by elections? It's been
quite a number of them.
It's been quite, and it's everywhere. You can't even accuse one or the other. It's been everywhere, where now we're getting to the point where are we really following the Constitution here? Because what are they doing on the campaign trails? And whether we admit it or not, this has really been the muscle of, is the government going to carry the day, or is the opposition or the will of the people going to carry the day? The most interesting example for me, because I think places like Mbeere are quite clear, it's either opposition or it's government. A place like Kasipul is very interesting because you have the ODM candidate and then you have an independent candidate on the other side. The independent candidate is also just aligned to the government anyways. There is no difference. And we've seen the case where you've had the UDA local fraternity going to campaign for the independent candidate. Then you have the national UDA fraternity going to campaign for the ODM candidate. And it's beautiful because you're like, this is democracy at a very beautiful level that we're witnessing. So we see how it plays out. Whoever wins,
it's a win-win.
I mean, they're still aligned to the government. But then you see some of them being very confused and saying, but you're confusing us. They're so used to everything going in one path or the other. And I think that's beautiful because we are just developing our democracy. What I worry about is in cases like this, because we're talking about trust, can we please try to stick to the Constitution? And what does the Constitution say about certain state agents that are being heavily involved in the campaigns?
We'll come back just a minute. I want to cross over to Malava, and of course my colleague Timothy Simwa is on standby to bring us up to speed with the situation in Malava constituency, where the voting exercise, of course, did start this morning. I just want to understand that. Timothy, I can see you are in one of the polling centers. What is the latest? What can you report to us this particular morning? How is the turnout? What are the numbers? Good morning to you first.
We are in one of the 198 polling stations in Malava constituency. This is Malava Primary Comprehensive School. The process picked up very early in the morning by 6 a.m. as the IEBC had announced. All the polling, most of the polling centers had already opened, and we are just in one of the polling stations within this premise where members of the public have already turned up for the exercise. That, of course, we understand it's taking place in 6 other constituencies, including 17 wards and, of course, Baringo senatorial race. As you can see, the process is fairly calm. Voters are coming in one after the other just to cast their ballots, and after which they are also directed to leave the premise. And from just what we can observe is that quite a number have already voted, and of course left. And so far, so good, and why we can report that the process appears to be seamless up to this point. And it involves a little bit of just confirming your credentials of whether or not you are a legitimate voter. You meet the requirements as the IEBC, regulations just before you're allowed to walk into the polling booth to cast your vote, after which you leave. There is a fairly good number of Malava residents that have turned up for the exercise from what we can actually see. Of course, there is always a tradition in which by-elections normally witness low turnout in terms of people come out to vote. But then we understand why that this is a high-stake by-election, not just in Malava, even in other places. And that could explain why there is quite a high number of people who are coming in just to make sure that they can be a part of this exercise. It has been a rigorous campaign of at least 9 candidates who are seeking to be the next legislator for Malava constituency within Kakamega County for the next 1.5 years, just before the general election of 2027. And in a recap, Amwai, we understand that this seat fell vacant following the death of former Member of Parliament, or the late Moses Malulu Njendi, early February this year, which of course has occasioned this exercise, like I said, and 9 aspirants have expressed their interest to succeed the late Malulu Njendi. And of the 9, Amwai, 3 have already bowed out in support of other candidates. So basically, we are left with 6. But nevertheless, the IEBC announced that their bowing out came a little bit late. So their names still remain on the ballot paper, despite the fact that they have already, chickened out, for lack of a better word, of the race to leave the other 6 to contest. So we have 6 at the end of the day who will be seeking to replace the late Malulu. We are not very far from the constituency tallying center, which is Malava Boys High School. That is the main point where the aspirants plus their agents will be congregating before the end of the day to exactly hear what will be happening going forward. Of course, expecting the IEBC to announce who eventually will be the next Member of Parliament for Malava. Amai, I mentioned that this has been a high-stakes by-election. Why? We have seen incidences of accusations and counter-accusations, especially from 2 camps. The camp of DAP Kenya, of course, which is represented by Seth Panyako, and we are told that he voted a few minutes ago at Lunyu Primary School in Manda Shivanga Ward. That is his home ward. And yesterday at night, we saw a number of social media postings coming from his camp with a lot of allegations. This is information we cannot authoritatively confirm, but we are waiting probably for the security apparatus to make their comment. They have also said that they'll be giving an official statement after visiting some people they allege were injured after being attacked in one of the hotels somewhere in Kaborengu, just within this constituency still. But like I said, there has been a lot of misgivings about what could be happening to sabotage the process, but the IEBC has been clear that this exercise will be free and fair, and if anyone has any complaints, has seen anything out of the norm, they have every right to knock at their doors and express their dissatisfaction. The other candidates, of course, UDA's candidate David Ndakwa, we are also told that he'll be voting this morning at Vulupi Primary School. That is his home ward. Remember, Ndakwa has been representing West Kabras in the Malava County Assembly, rather Kakamega County Assembly, I beg your pardon. Before now expressing his interest to become the next Member of Parliament for Malava. And to be fair, the race has shaped to become more of a two-horse race between the UDA camp and DAP Kenya camp. So at the end of the day, Kenyans and other observers will be waiting to see exactly how this race pans out. Malava constituency, Mwai, as we conclude, has at least 94,417 registered voters, and it's actually the highest in Kakamega County. So today we'll be, waiting to see what number or what percentage of the voters will be actually coming out to cast their votes to determine who becomes the next Member of Parliament for Malava constituency. So we'll be here to see and observe and let Kenyans know what exactly will be happening. In terms of security, we have seen quite a high number of police officers who are manning this polling center. This is just to tell you that they're not leaving anything to chance, bearing in mind that there has been a little bit of simmering tension between opposing camps and all these counter accusations and counter accusations like I mentioned. At this point in time, Amwai, let me give our colleague who is in Mbeere North constituency to let us know exactly what is happening that other end, where we also understand that a by-election is underway, where members of the public or other residents of Mbeere North constituency.
So far, how do you assess the complaints you had about possibility of interference, say through goons or insecurity? What is your assessment so far within the first hour of voting?
Within the first hour, there's been no incidents has been reported. I have checked with the people in Siakago around the town. I've checked with the people around Ishiara, and here, as you can see, the situation is calm, and therefore, my assumption is that if all goes well, we should get an incident-free polling day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns about the roadblocks that have been erected along the roads?
Well, I heard the story about the roadblocks, which the particular report I mentioned about the roadblocks, saying that they were elected from around Mwea, which is in Kirinyaga County, coming all the way to Embu. I think it is a good thing because if the police are serious, then they should be able to pick out any bad elements that may be coming from outside the county to come and could disrupt the process.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
The UDA side yesterday said that it is you in the opposition who are planning to plant goons and blame the government for it.
We have no intention of doing anything like that. In any event, as you can see, you will see here where we are. We cannot plant goons because we know we can almost predict the result. I have voted here since 1974, and I can tell you, I know the voting pattern. I'm very, very confident, and we have no reason to even imagine of bringing goons that could cause disruption, cause intimidation and fear, and discourage candidates from, voters from coming to vote.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The Democratic Party leader, Justin Muturi, they are now heading to the polling station to see whether his name is on.
Of course, that's a DP party leader, that is Justin Muturi, has just spoken to the members of press and is now moving to the polling station where he'll be casting his vote. He has addressed a number of issues. Of course, he has said they are confident as the opposition that they are going to also win this particular position, and of course they are not they don't have any intentions, of course, as they were accused by their competitors, that is Democratic UDA, of course, accusing them of planning to plant some goons to disrupt this particular exercise. Of course, now Justin Muturi has entered the polling station ready to cast his vote right now.
We are live in Beira North, where Justin Muturi, of course, is actually in the process of practicing his democratic right when it comes to voting for his preferred candidate in this by-election. We also continue the conversation here. Like we say, it is real and real-time ground reporting. Here in studio, we do the analysis of whatever we are reporting on the ground and the process itself until the last vote is counted today. I was to come to you, Sheila. Oh no, I was to come to Kitu. Let me understand before you even, get to engage on what Prof had said and also what Sheila had said. You are a member of parliament. You're talking about 6 constituencies that have not had representation for, a period of time.
Correct.
What did they miss, especially for people of Banisa, Ugunja? What did they miss?
Quite a lot of things happen within Parliament. First of all, some of which I will say, some I'll keep it for now. But one of the things that happens, don't forget that Parliament is, despite the fact that they do the oversighting, they also participate in budget making processes. So there are issues that are required by, in your constituency, like if you need some bridges, some roads, some emergency or very needy issues that needs to be addressed with the leadership within the executive. And then following up those particular items or projects or infrastructure needs within the budget making processes or the various committees within Parliament. So when you have a leader amongst yourself and you have priority needs, you as a leader then take the lead in following up those particular projects within the various structures within Parliament. I think that is actually the most important one. And so sometimes when you are not able to have a leader within your own representation in Parliament, indeed, it becomes very disadvantageous. Even
so
in terms
would
of
we
the
say the people of Banisa, I believe we are talking mostly about issues to do development to some extent?
Yes, development. That's what I'm saying, infrastructure development and those kinds of things. There are those that generally government picks them. When the general assessment, when the budget making process still happens within the lower levels, so like it started in September, which will culminate next year in June. But along the course, there is also you as a leader, there are those very pressing needs that you also identify. And so those are the kind of things that you're able to bring afore and run with the various ministries and tell them, no, well, let me see the priority projects that you've brought. And when you notice, you say, no, part of the things I've noted is this may not be priority. In my view, with interactions with the people who gave me this, I have noted the priority project is this. And so that is how sometimes they get the funding, they get to be funded along the course.
Will they ever recover?
Yes, of course, they will catch up. And I know we've been, that's why I said it was quite disadvantageous. And that is why we needed to have these by-elections done as soon as it became vacant. But of course, the challenges that we had with, setting up the IEBC commissioners was one of the things that, of course, delayed this process. And that was the complaint. Even most of us were saying that it becomes quite unfair when a particular section of, and it's a right anyway, constitutional right. So when they don't have representation, it's quite unfair. So I feel there will be a catch-up, of course, that will have to be done. Affirmative action definitely might need also to be done along the course and look at what are some of those things. But of course, quite a number of them will have been covered, but as I said, priority. Sometimes when you have the civil servants, the officers who are on ground assessing things, it also sometimes slightly becomes a bit different when also we go in there as leadership, because as a political leader, because people tell you this is actually our need, maybe there's something else that they identified, you can be able now to say, yes, this is also critical, but let's give priority to this one.
Okay. Live pictures, just a moment, I comment on this one. Live pictures, of course, from Mbeere North. Justin Muturi voting, of course, in this by-election in Mbeere North during, of course, trying to, of course, I believe he has finished voting to elect a leader that will represent that constituency in the National Assembly. Like we said, Mbeere North was heated. Has experienced quite a heated campaign in the past few weeks with different leaders, and of course both opposition and government are camping in that particular area to ensure that they put a case for their candidates. I don't know if we can listen to Justin Muturi. I believe he's speaking right now. If you can be able to get that. Yes, let's listen into Justin Muturi. He's finished voting.
We normally see by-elections, people don't take it seriously. How do you tell people to
We have mobilized people sufficiently, and we've told them that it is as important as a general election, because the determination is the same. It's to elect a representative of the people. Yeah. So we expect that, well, even though generally in the country, voter turnout.
And of course, that is Mbeere North. Like we said, real-time on-ground reporting, sharp analysis here in studio, trying to make sense of the events today and the process itself and what it means for the country moving forward. Before we crossed over to Mbeere, of course, I had Bernard Kitu. I can see you raising your hand, of course, finish.
So first of all, very impressive on the way K24 is reporting really live on ground. And I assured Kenyans, and I said earlier, that we had a great interaction between the Committee of Parliament that handles commissions within the Republic of Kenya, and we had discussions with the IEBC how they intend to run the by-elections that were forthcoming. Okay. I want to, to talk about the involvement of the security apparatus. By the way, behind the scenes there, if you would have gone right to the gate, you would have noted that there are police officers who have been stationed there to manage chaos and any kind of rioting. It is very good that you've had Justin Muturi saying there is peace and order. When I mentioned earlier, and I had my friend here trying to, create aspersions like, when the involvement of security officers, creates what, the negative, vibe that he was trying to put across. No, you did.
You can say what you want.
So the thing is, the involvement of the security apparatus, the IEBC requests for a particular number of police officers whom they need to be able to secure various places, and also to provide orderly movement of voters as they come in. They are being guided very well. Nobody is being intimidated. And by the way, the imagination that any government of the day wants to always create, a way where they want to bully people is not going to happen in the government of William Ruto. What happened in Narok, for the benefit of everyone to listen. No, listen. What happened in Narok, for the benefit of everyone to listen, is when you are vying, you usually give a plan of where you will be campaigning from your start of the campaign to the very end. Particularly, IEBC is very keen on the last days. What they did is they entered into a place where they had not put in as part of the places they are going to campaign. And so they want to just create chaos and look and get sympathy for, to look for, like, we are being, the police officers are blocking us. But the truth of the matter is, it was not in the agreed, harmonized campaign schedule. Okay. All right? So I think it was very important to say that. Finally, I want also to discount what Prof. Alia said here. Dr. Ali did say that, that the credibility of IEBC will be on the basis of the timeline that it's going to take for them to be able to report the results.
No, I didn't say that.
No, you did say that.
I didn't say that.
No,
please,
you actually hinted that. You hinted that.
We cannot sit
here. You mentioned that it happened in the past.
He was referring to 2020.
Yes,
to 2020,
I want to say
2013, I beg your pardon.
I didn't say that.
No, he did
actually,
mention
the
one that
was led by Hassan. Hassan team used that to get credibility. I didn't compare.
What we want is credible
let's
results
be honest.
to be done.
You
I mean,
can't,
where IEBC
you can't,
is going
as
to
member of
run,
parliament, come to
where
national
IEBC
TV to spread propaganda.
Where
No.
I'm going to give you a minute. Yes. Listen.
You'll be given your time
You
to
have to tell him to stop.
You'll be given your time to respond.
No. Allow me kindly. We are not voting here. We are just making analysis, so we will not get into chaos.
Television as member of parliament.
And I'm going to give you. I will give you an opportunity to respond to that.
I have allowed him 3 times.
Yes.
And he continues doing it.
You have an opportunity to respond.
That you mentioned. That is why I want to put it right and clear. You will get your time to rebut.
Give me a minute, kindly.
My time cannot be given you to lie.
You will be given a time to rebut.
On public television.
Good.
Mheshimiwa.
You'll be given
Respect
time.
yourself.
Dr. Fred, kindly, a minute.
So what I wanted to say is the IEBC must deliver very credible election today, where the results will be very verifiable. There will be no dispute. And what I'm happy about the most is that there is no chaos happening within the polling stations across.
Okay. It is still 7:29, so let's still have a long way to go. Dr. Fred.
Yeah, my submissions are the following, that the delay in these elections, like Bannister, was created by the Kenya Kwanza government because they're the one who came and dismissed IBC, and that's on record. We're on television here. They're the ones who went to parliament and disbanded IBC, and they have brought it when it was convenient for them. So that's the fact. The second thing is that you ask a question about Gachagua's claims in Narok, and you're saying whether it's true or not, and I was saying that no, there's a time when Gachagua said some things which are not true in the media, and then later he has claimed back the title of the truthful man. So now it's upon you to compare. Is Gachagua can be the main source of verification of what happened? I'm sure that what we could check is that did the MP go to report in a police station these incidences? Because in Kenya we want people to be fed on the truth, isn't it? If he didn't report it, then it's an incident that does not matter to him. Okay. If it is reported, IBC should have to take that again to Kasipul. There's something that happened, Brian, that was very disheartening, that some people were killed in Kasipul Kabondo because of the violence between the two candidates. Then ABC finds the two candidates 1 million each, but did not care about those families. You know, sometimes...
What should have happened?
You know, can you imagine if you lose a relative in an election contest, and then the IBC finds the candidates, and the money is paid to IBC? Has the families that were injured, who were killed, have someone look for a compensation for them? Because you see, some of these things we just talk about, it's about leadership, it's about government fighting over each other and parties, but there's a normal Mwananchi who had nothing to do with that thing. Maybe somebody was just on his way going to work or is going to look forward to eat. Okay. So I'm trying to say this way IBC has to come. The third point I have is that the electoral code of conduct is there. Can IBC give a report that was followed in Malava, followed in Narok, where Mr. Mwa is talking about, followed in Mbere? I'm happy to see my chair of the People Restorative Commission, Justin Muturi, being honest man and saying that there's no incidents, isn't it? Okay. And I'm happy that right there, we hope there's no incidents because of expected, but we usually see, generally in Kenya tend not to have a lot of violence in election. I'm saying generally.
Generally.
But you see, for us...
okay, so we wait for Kasipul?
Wait for Kasipul. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about is that, you see the issue, what is at stake here, why you see people accusing each other, all these big wigs, there is some implication depending on the outcome. For example, if Gachagua wins nothing in Mount Kenya, question will be, are you still the kingpin? You understand? Okay. If Kalonzo doesn't deliver Magarini, people will say, can you actually win a presidential election? If Musalia Mudavadi and his team, Waklangula, does not deliver to UDA, the question comes the same. If Natembea delivers, he becomes the supremo. So this thing is not just about the election which is going on among
So it is not about the individuals actually contesting for these particular seats?
And this moment I miss Baba.
Why?
Because some of these crybabies we are seeing here, all these big, we are calling a president to cry, Baba could have actually pointed out the issues, but he could have put the foot soldiers on the ground. Some of us have been serious foot soldiers. Like, for example, you cannot go to Kondele and say, like it was said in Mukambani, Ruto said in Mukambani that Kalonzo has no vision, isn't it? If you said that in Kondele about that Baba has no vision, there you, my brother. You cannot leave Kisumu in good peace.
Okay.
So I'm trying to say that the issue is that we miss Baba in some of these crybabies, but also the absence of Baba, like Sheila was saying, has created a bit of some democracy in some areas. So I'm not saying missing Baba is anything one to think about, isn't it? Okay. But I'm saying as we cry, we also can wipe our tears with a few things there and saying now everybody must sell their vision to Kenyans. Everybody must come and tell Kenyans what they can do for Kenyans rather than hiding under somebody else. And you know, even if you look, for example, you are not mentioning something critical, but Matiang'i is saying he wants to run for president. I've done analysis. A governor for his party, UPA, has been impeached. You understand? Now there are 2 by-elections for MCAs. Someone is on MCA, isn't it? Matiang'i, if he does not deliver those 3 seats of MCA, he'll be asked in a united opposition. If you can deliver 3 MCAs in your own area called Nyamira, your governor gets impeached. Can you be president? I'm saying that this election is not more even about the people doing the votes there. It's more about...
So the MCAs under which party exam?
UPA. The governor,
Matiang'i is under...
No, don't listen to that. UPA is on public knowledge that UPA is Matiang'i's party. He is the one who put the governor, Nyaribo, it's called what? This county is called what? Nyamira. That party is his party. In fact, people had told him to come from UPA, then join the United Coalition Jubilee with UPA, isn't it? But he chose the shortcut, take Jubilee. If he's Jubilee Party, why didn't Jubilee Party field a candidate in those areas? What I'm trying to say is everybody, even Mheshimiwa here, everybody's under pressure that are you the supremo you think you are? This is a big question. So I'm saying this election is not just about people. For example, should UDA win in Mbeere, Ruto will walk like a king and said, I'm back. Even if he gets 40% of the votes from Mbeere, he'll say, I have 40%. So it's about ego, it's about hubris. It's not too much to do with electing these people.
All right. Sheila, I want to look at something that you know, we mentioned in terms of why are we having these by-elections. One of the reasons has been you know, the death of an individual, which is sad. There's been the nullification of results and, of course, also issues to do with the appointment to cabinet positions. So to some extent, we are making these by-elections intentionally. And we are looking at it and be like, okay, so the cost of by-elections in this country, what exactly is the cost? Now, we not just focusing on what we are doing today, but also the by-elections that we've conducted before. Immediately, some of the members of parliament and the Senate were actually appointed into cabinet. Why do we get to that particular point?
Why do we get to the by-elections?
Why do we appoint individuals in cabinet to create a vacant intentionally and cause a by-election?
I think that's a pretty straightforward concept. In the case of, let's take the latest example, Ugunja, for example. I mean, when the Ruto's government went into an agreement with the opposition, when they created the broad-based government, part of the negotiation was that they pick individuals to represent from the opposition side, and that is what created the vacuum. And I think it was at the opposition's own discretion to decide who they wanted to fill these different positions. So, you know, as a result of that, some of these areas then therefore remained vacant. And it's not the most, let's say, efficient way to do it, because they would have taken anyone else within the party circle to fill these positions. But again, like I say, it's at the discretion of the opposition to decide who they want their best soldiers. As they always say, they wanted the experts. So maybe the experts were the ones who were already elected in the positions, and they wanted to send nothing but the best soldiers forth to fight for them. And that's how they ended up there. I think, you know, in the previous system, it used to be, I remember somebody like my father was a member of parliament and a minister. So you had this dual role that was going on, and that's not the case anymore. And it goes back to the conversation we were having before about having, you can see that some of these experts who were put in cabinet are struggling a lot to stop being politicians. In fact, some of them have been very vocal about it. I remember one of them, I think down from our region, was saying, you know, even by the time I was being put in the cabinet, they knew I was a politician first. So, I mean, I cannot abandon politics. But I wanted us to, in terms of, because I like being solution oriented. So when we discuss this issue of trust, do we trust the government? Do we trust IEBC in the electoral process? this question of having involvement, direct, heavy involvement in the election, I think we need to dissect it. We need to check, what does the Constitution say about their involvement directly in politics, in campaigns, as they have been doing it? What does the Constitution say? And who is supposed to regulate this? Who is supposed to discipline them and tell them, hey, Prof, or hey, Mheshimiwa, you're out of line. You're not supposed to, you're not allowed to be doing this and that. And if there's somebody who's supposed to be regulating this, what have they done? What are they doing? And how do we stop this? Because for me, it's one of the weakest links towards generating this idea of trust, right? So if I watch you making a mistake, it's like a police officer, it's literally a traffic officer is watching you making a traffic offense, and they sit and they watch. And then the question becomes that, why are you watching them make a traffic offense? And yet, if someone else tries to do something else that is also an offense, then they get reprimanded. You cannot have selective justice going on. So then the question is, once we have this idea that you will have ex-politician or ex-members of parliament going in to become cabinet, is that the best way to do it? Or maybe should you say, okay, we need to pick people who have not been elected because they prefer remaining in politics and not being, you know, in cabinet, so we have a clear difference. That's a conversation that we should start having. That we need to have.
By the way, Brian, just to interject, William Ruto's mindset normally is elected leaders are more important to work with because they have people. So that's why when he picked Ruku to become a CS, he knew that all the people who voted for Ruku will love him. You know,
is it because there are people they can
but I'm saying he's done this.
Look
at the run up to 2022. He took most of the Mount Kenya MPs to work for him, and that's what made him popular. And it's very strategic, by the way.
And I think that's okay, but then the question is, once you've been given the job, what is your job description? What is your mandate? What are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? What does the Constitution say? And where do we find this fine line? I think he's allowed to pick whoever he wants. There's nothing wrong with that. But then the question then becomes, because it's been a huge debate that for the first time, a lot of people are wondering, and this is, I mean, if you let misinformation, or if you don't let the right conversation go through, then you find that there will be public discourse that maybe is not justified, right? Because a lot of the opposition now is hitting at them and saying, but why are you blatantly allowing Constitution to be violated? Then you also have other people who are saying, no, we can interpret it in different ways. It doesn't necessarily say that that's not allowed. So the question is, what does the Constitution say? What does the law say? And if there's a violation of the law that is going on, what is being done about it, or what is not being done about it, and what can we say about that?
All right. Brian, just to maybe contribute on this, where is the cut line of saying that you're being political? Yes, you are a cabinet secretary. What you find many times, what you find with these cabinet secretaries that were nominated, you would notice, first of all, they were elected by the people. Which means back in the villages, when there were so many of them, about 30 or 40 or 50 offered themselves to campaign, or amongst the 100,000, 200,000 people, they emerged amongst them. So they must be having some unique values amongst themselves. And look at those that came really to join, you know, from the opposition, that formed the Grand Coalition. They are, they're smart fellows. They can articulate, they can be able to reach out to the people. They can articulate government programs that wants to be done. Yes. For example, the Honorable Mbadi, John Mbadi, you would see Mbadi easily gels, goes where you can even find him. He's here in Akakan work, you find him, he's in Mombasa Town Hall, able to synthesize the very complex, financial policies, which we did not have before in the cabinet secretaries that were before there. All right. So the issue is the president.
But do they get to now start campaigning for individuals in
elections?
Well,
it's about how they.
That is what I'm asking you.
Communicating their docket. That is given.
That is what I'm asking you. Where is the cut line of saying that if I'm in Mbere and I'm still explaining the government policy, where is the problem with that?
But that is not the problem. The problem is not them explaining.
Is it that if I stand in a political rally and I explain that this is what we are doing as a government, that is where...
Okay, allow me.
I think if you could find a clip of a cabinet secretary campaigning for a candidate, and you'll find so many of them endorsing and saying Mheshimiwa Nani is the one we vote for.
We have Honorable Ruku actually,
please find a clip to help
this week,
here, so
actually campaigning for a candidate in Mbeere.
Well, in Mbeere North, his home turf.
Yeah, and he started the moment the vacant position. So the IBC announced that they are going to conduct the by-elections. He started at that particular moment, hitting out and saying this is our candidate.
Yes,
you're not going to win this.
That's where it comes from.
That is where he comes from, but he's not supposed to do that.
We need to have a delineated conversation and say this is the cut line. That's what I was asking you.
Is it not provided for in law?
It is not clear. It is not clear. It's not cut line.
Let me explain. First is resources, isn't it? A cabinet secretary cannot leave Nairobi using wind going to Mbeere. And then at the moment when you saw the motorcade, which was in Mbeere, the motorcade in Mudavadi was in Malava, isn't it? It was not a private motorcade. It was